The city is wrecked, buildings burned down, and streets covered in rubble. It's clear that whatever went down here was intense, leaving almost nothing untouched. The throne room lay in ruins, chunks of stone scattered everywhere and pillars barely standing. Right in the middle of the wreckage, a once powerful general was down on one knee, beaten and out of strength. His armor was scratched up and his head hung low, showing just how hard he'd fought and lost. Stands out as one of the commanders straight from the Demon Lord's army. He glances up at the person standing over him, the one who just knocked him down. The general stands there, not really sure how to take in what just happened. His plans didn't work out, and now he's stuck thinking about where he went wrong. It's hard for him to accept that things didn't go his way. Getting beaten by just a regular guy really stung. It was the kind of thing that could mess with anyone's pride. He lets out a yell, not ready to give up or let things end like this. The hero stands there, not showing any emotion. His face is set, serious and tough, like nothing else going to shake him. He's ready for whatever comes next. He charges forward one last time, pushing past his own limits. The general tries to hang on, but it's over. Just like that, the fight ends, quick and final. The swordsman stands tall, letting everyone know he's won. There's no need for any more words. His confidence says it all. The general's body gets torn up by a flurry of red slashes, leaving him barely standing. The hero hits the ground, his last move quick and sharp. Everything happens so fast, it's almost impossible to keep up. He watches closely, his eyes just as cold and focused as the sword he's holding. Everything started going downhill in this world the moment a demon lord showed up. He tore through kingdoms, destroying everything in his path. Whole crowds lost hope whenever he showed up, and he seemed to get stronger off their misery. Now that he was in charge, he sent his officers out to different parts of the land to keep things under control. This harsh rule dragged on for 100 years, with people just trying to get by as things stayed rough. People didn't give up. Even when things looked bad, they kept pushing back, hanging on to whatever hope they had left. They couldn't get past the mid-bosses, so taking down the demon lord was out of the question. Everything stayed the same for ages, with nobody stepping up. Then one day, a new warrior showed up and things started to shift. The story moves over to a small, peaceful village called. Not much happens here, and it's the kind of place most people would scroll past without a second thought. Word started to spread around the quiet neighborhood. A hero was back. People in the streets picked up on it quickly, sharing glances and whispers as the news traveled. The place was usually calm, but this bit of information had everyone just a little more alert than usual. Inside a small, comfortable house, a young woman sits by the window, watching and waiting. She looks calm, just hanging out there, passing the time and glancing outside every so often. She turns her head, her eyes lighting up a little when she hears all the noise. The villagers gather around their champion, cheering him on and sharing stories about his big fight. Everyone seems excited, swapping details about how he took down his opponent. It's a proud moment for the whole village, and people can't help but smile as they talk about what happened. Roland stood there taking in the crowd. He wasn't really sure what to do with all the attention. People were cheering for him, but he looked a little lost, like he hadn't expected this kind of welcome at all. While the crowd keeps moving and everyone's caught up in their own world, someone suddenly calls out his name. It's clear and direct, standing out above all the noise. The tough warrior, usually all serious and intense, suddenly relaxes. His face eases up, and he breaks into a real, friendly smile that you don't see from him often. His old friend from way back is the first person he sees when he walks in. She's always believed in him, no matter what, and her friendly smile makes things feel a bit easier. The villagers notice how things are going and step back, letting the heroes have a quiet moment to themselves. Even the bravest need a break sometimes, and everyone seems to get that without needing to say anything. Notices he's back from the royal capital earlier than expected and quietly wonders about it. Her curiosity showing as she tries to figure out what brought him home so soon. He just smiled, thinking about how everyone would keep bugging him to join the knights if he showed off too much. He let everyone know he was planning to stick around, and the villagers just stared at him, not really believing what they were hearing. He remembers that he let one of the knights handle the rest of the cleanup. A young boy showed up and gave Roland a serious look, making it clear he was not messing around when it came to Roland's sister. The kid steps up, acting all serious, making sure his big sister gets treated right. He's not messing around. He wants everyone to know he's got her back. Back in the city, he decided to tell what was still bothering him. The threat hadn't gone away, and he wanted her to know what was on his mind. She wonders if he's really going to keep her sister stressed out like this while he runs around trying to fix everything. She lets him know that she's got things covered while he's gone, making sure he doesn't have to stress about what's happening back home. She flashes a quick grin and starts giving him that usual future brother-in-law talk, the kind where you can tell she's half joking but also a little serious, just to make sure he's got the message. Roland just stood there, caught off guard by how bold was. He could feel his face getting warm, not really sure what to do next. Everything happened so fast, and now he was stuck, trying to play it cool when his mind was still racing. Back in the village, he focused on. He wanted to give her something special. Her mind just blanks out for a second after hearing that. He looks away, kind of embarrassed, hoping she wouldn't act so surprised. At first, she looks surprised, but then her face lights up with a curious smile. He gets down on one knee and holds out a small, plain box. Inside the box, a shiny ring glinted under the light. She stared at it, her chest tightening as she tried to process what she was seeing. Roland looks at her with confidence and asks her to marry him. He knows things are still pretty tense right now, and real peace seems a long way off. He lifts his head, not ready to give up just yet. He wants this shot at happiness, and he's set on making it happen. He kept going with his proposal, making it clear he wanted to step up and take responsibility. He made a promise to keep her safe, and as she heard it, tears rolled down her cheeks. He thinks back to when it was just the two of them, growing up without parents. They only had each other to lean on. Demons had torn the world apart, but even with everything falling apart, always stood out. No matter how bad things got, she never lost that spark that kept everyone else going. He thought she was way out of his league, especially since swinging a sword was about the only thing he was good at. He decided right then that he would do whatever it took to look out for her, even if things got tough. He's determined to keep that promise, no matter what it takes. There's a plain gold ring on his finger now, marking the start of something new in his life. Getting married didn't mean things got easier for him. If anything, it just meant there was even more on the line now. He keeps pushing himself, practicing with his sword every day. He wants to make sure he can protect the future he just fought so hard to save. Walked in and saw him still working out. She watched for a second, noticing he looked tired, and quietly let him know it might be a good idea to chill for the night. Roland stays focused, believing he has to get stronger if he wants to keep this new happiness in his life safe. His non-stop determination just makes her more uneasy. She reaches out to him, hoping he'll give her his word on something important. She wanted him to promise that he'd stick around longer than she would. She understands him better than anyone else. He always tries to put her first, even if it means getting himself into trouble. She's put all her hopes for what comes next on his shoulders. She couldn't even imagine life without him. The thought alone made her determined to do whatever it takes. When she smiled, it sent chills down your spine. There was something intense about it, like she'd already decided nothing would stop her. After hearing what she had to say, he finally starts to understand. He decides he's not going to throw his life away so easily anymore. She looks pretty happy, but the way she asks her next question suggests there's something more going on underneath. He ignores her concerns and pushes himself to train even more, determined to get stronger. Didn't really expect him to want to train on their wedding night. She looked at him, kind of caught off guard, not sure what to make of it. It wasn't what most people would do, and for a second, she just tried to process what he was thinking. She quietly lets him know that, yeah, they're actually married now. After a while, the world's strongest swordsman finally catches on and starts acting differently. She smiles when she sees how awkward he gets, and he ends up turning red, trying to play it cool even though he knows she noticed. The two of them stood side by side in the calm night. Things finally felt still, like they'd actually managed to get through everything. For once, neither of them had to say anything, just being there was enough. Roland glances upward, a quiet smile spreading across his face. For once, he actually feels at ease, like everything's finally fallen into place. His good mood gets wrecked in an instant as a heavy sense of dread crashes over him. The sky turned red, casting a weird, intense light over everything. Something dark and powerful seemed to settle in, making the air feel heavier and tense. A new enemy showed up, and right away, he seemed to know who took down General. Roland lifts his head, eyes wide, as another demon drops out of the sky. His stomach sinks, and for a second he just freezes, not sure what to do next. He feels a heavy pressure weighing down on him, way stronger than anything he's dealt with from other officers before. Roland doesn't waste a second. He just pulls out his sword, ready for whatever's coming. He charges ahead, wanting to stop the danger before it even starts. But right as he moves into attack, his whole body just locks up. He can't move at all, like he's been hit with the pause button. He's totally stuck, like something heavy and invisible is pinning him down. No matter how hard he tries, his arms and legs just won't budge. Just like that, the world's toughest swordsman ended up flat on the ground, totally out of action. The creature nods, finally getting how lost. It realizes just how good he actually is. But it decides that keeping its pride is more important, so it can't let him stay alive. Roland freezes when he figures out who's standing in front of him. It's the Demon Lord. His whole body tightens up, and for a second he can't move or think straight. The Demon Lord showed up planning to take Roland out, but after seeing him, he started thinking of a different plan that seemed even better. He explains that what they really want isn't to kill anyone. Instead, they're after something darker. They feed off the hopelessness people feel when things go wrong. He pulls up this dark, swirling energy, the kind you don't see every day. Right away, he knows it's not just some regular power. It's an old curse, something that's been around forever. There's this curse out there, and it's bad news. If it touches someone, they end up turning into a monster that just wants to eat and destroy everything. No one really knows how to stop it, and people try their best to avoid it, because once it gets you, there's no going back. The Demon Lord's lips curl into a sharp, confident grin, like he's got a secret he's not sharing with anyone. He throws the orb of corruption straight toward the village, catching everyone off guard. Roland gets released all of a sudden. The Demon Lord just stands there, acting all smug and waving him off, like he's giving Roland a head start just for fun. Roland listens as the threat sinks in. He realizes that everything he cares about could be taken from him, right in front of him, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. The weight of it all hits him. His friends, his family, everything he's tried to protect is suddenly at risk. The hero's face goes goes pale when he finally understands what's about to happen. His eyes go wide, and his whole body freezes like he's just seen something he can't handle. It's all over his face. He's seriously scared, and there's no hiding it now. He takes off running as fast as he can, yelling's name into the darkness. He pushes himself harder than ever, his muscles burning with every move. All he could think about was the promise he made to keep her safe. He jumps into the air, reaching out to stop the ball of dark magic before it hits anyone. Just then, someone calls his name from the doorway, sounding totally calm. He just stands there, frozen, his heart racing as a bad feeling settles in his chest. She looks over at him, her eyes saying it all. She's about to warn him, but it hangs in the air just out of reach. She lets him go from the promise he made, her smile kind of sad but understanding. Everything around him just kind of stops. The hero stands there, frozen, trying to figure out what she meant, but his thoughts can't keep up. It's like his brain just blanks out and he can't process anything. The curse kicks in, changing her body until she's not even herself anymore. She turns into something no one would recognize. He just stands there frozen, his chest tight with fear he can't shake off. Deep down, he wishes all of this wasn't real, hoping for something, anything to change what's happening, but nothing does. He can't help but remember how she used to smile at him. But now, when he thinks about it, that same smile looks completely different, almost like she's making fun of him. His voice breaks through the darkness as he calls out her name, the sound echoing in the empty night. All he can do is yell, hoping somehow she'll hear him. The hero's mind just breaks. You can see it all over his face. He looks completely wrecked, like he's in serious pain and can't hide it anymore. The girl he cared about had changed completely. Now, standing in front of him was someone unrecognizable, covered in heavy armor and acting distant, almost like she was a stranger. Her eyes, which used to look so calm and kind, now have this strange, sharp glare. They almost look dangerous, like she's watching for her next move and nothing's going to stop her. She stands way taller than him, her lower body opening up into this huge mouth full of sharp teeth. Her hands changed, turning into sharp claws that sparked with dark energy. Wasn't herself anymore. Something had changed her, twisted her into something unrecognizable. She lifted her hand, ready to attack, and he could see that any trace of the old was gone. Roland just stands there frozen. He can't move a muscle, locked in place by what he's seeing. He gripped his sword, finally ready to face whatever was coming. His instincts kicked in, the kind he'd trained for, and he braced himself, focusing on what he needed to do next. Roland charges straight at her, blocking her attack with his sword. Her strength is wild, but he holds his ground, not backing down even as their weapons crash together. He tries his best to resist the blast, but it's almost too strong for him. Every muscle in his body is tense as he digs in and braces himself, barely managing to stay on his feet. He yells out her name, reaching for her even though she's trapped inside the monster. Desperation shows all over his face as he tries to break through, hoping she can hear him. His sword got stuck in the creature's jaws, and for a second it looked like his guard was about to break. Isn't herself anymore. She's turned into something wild, not stopping for anything. She charges forward, moving fast and fierce like nothing can slow her down. He stumbles backward, noticing right away that she's totally out of it, like there's nobody home. She stares down at him, her smile sharp and cold, like she doesn't even know who he is. He switched up his game plan, dodging her moves instead of fighting back, hoping she'd get tired before he did. He stands there, raising his voice and letting everyone know that he believes things can change. Deep down, he's sure he'll figure out how to break the curse, holding on to that hope like it's the only thing that matters. He promises himself that he'll look out for her, sticking by her side through everything, until the day he can finally take her home. Roland reacts fast, swinging his sword just in time. Light flashes off the blade as he blocks the monster's heavy attack, turning it aside. No longer herself, gets knocked back hard from the hit, sliding across the ground. He remembers the promise he made to the woman stuck inside the beast, reminding himself he can't back down now. The monster doesn't even slow down. It just swings again, lashing out with another wild attack. Up high, the demon lord looks down, entertained by the chaos happening below. He notices how Roland handles himself, staying in the fight and getting by without actually hurting the other guy. The villain couldn't help himself and started messing with the hero, trying to get in his head about the whole curse thing. He wanted to see if the hero really thought he could break it, almost daring him to prove it. Roland charges forward with a fire in his eyes. He's got one thing on his mind: saving comes first no matter what. The demon lord can wait. Right now, nothing else matters to him. His wife, still not herself, doesn't wait for them to finish talking. The demon lord just grinned, looking way too confident as he started getting ready to cast another spell, clearly planning to mess things up even more. The demon lord thinks about how everything could just stop if Roland decides to have her back. It all comes down to him. If he steps in, all the chaos might be over. If that goes down, he'll miss out on watching the hero hit his lowest point. With a quick move, he locked Roland up in glowing chains, using magic like it was second nature. Now turned into a monster, rushed forward fast, not wasting the chance in front of her. Roland's sword flies out of his hand, landing a few feet away. Without his weapon, he stands there, suddenly vulnerable and unsure of what to do next. The hit lands hard and the world's strongest swordsman gets knocked back, flying through the air. The demon lord grinned, looking pretty pleased with himself. You could tell he thought things were finally starting to get fun. Roland lets out a loud yell as pain shoots through him. He glances down and suddenly notices his whole right arm is missing. The sight hits him hard, and for a moment everything else fades away. Dodging attacks was about to get a whole lot tougher for him. Even with just one arm, he lifts his sword anyway. His eyes are locked in, full of determination, like he's not backing down no matter what. He rushes ahead, swinging with just one arm, his anger clear in every move. Now fully turned into a monster, didn't hold back. As soon as she faced her target, she unleashed a brutal blast, the kind that left no room for escape. Roland gets thrown through the air and slams into a wall. The impact is brutal, leaving him stunned and hurting all over. He's beat up pretty bad, bruised and bleeding, but he hasn't passed out yet. His eyes start to lose focus, and everything around him gets hazy. A heavy feeling settles in as he realizes this could really be it for him. The creature pulls back, looking like it's about to go all out and end things right there. As the darkness creeps in, his mind drifts to, all he wants now is for her not to leave. He remembers her smiling through her tears, and it brings back the promise he made to her. He jolts awake, determined not to give up and leave her stuck in this mess by herself. He struggles to stay awake, realizing he doesn't have much time left if he wants to help her. He's barely hanging on, using his only good arm to stop things from falling apart. He remembers her smile, and it brings back the promise he made. He digs deep, finding one last burst of energy, and charges forward for a final attack. He stands his ground, refusing to back down. Deep inside, he knows he'll never let anything happen to her, and he's not about to walk away now. He finally lands a hit, his sword cutting into the monster's side. He clenched his jaw and shoved the sword harder, trying to force it deeper into the beast. He realizes it's just a small cut, nothing serious. The hit was weak, probably because it came from someone swinging with just one arm. His eyes were wild, nothing about her looked human anymore. There was so much anger in her stare, it was like she wasn't even herself. She gets ready to throw her own punch, looking like she's about to finish this fight for good. Her claws rip into his chest, ending his last-ditch attempt in an instant. Roland doubled over, clutching his chest as blood spilled from the deep wound. His face twisted in pain, and his body trembled, barely able to stay on his feet. He gets yanked up off the ground, hanging there while the monster's claws grip him tight, glowing in the dark. Or whatever she'd turned into, gripped his head like she'd just won some twisted game. It was pretty clear she saw him as proof of her victory, almost like showing off a prize after a long chase. Her face looks wild and almost unrecognizable, like she's enjoying every second of this in a way that's nothing like the person he used to know. She wraps her arms around him in a weird, uncomfortable hug, forcing his own sword up against his body. Even with blood on his face and pain shooting through him, Roland's eyes stay sharp and stubborn. He's not giving up. Anyone looking at him can see he's still ready to stand his ground. The monster lifts her hand, getting ready to hit again. Right then, she reaches out and puts her hand over his, gripping his sword together with him. He clenches his jaw, determined not to let her take his sword and finish him off. He pushes himself to his limit, forcing out one last burst of golden light. The golden light faded away, and Roland stood there, looking down at the monster he'd just cut in half. The demon lord watched him, actually impressed. He nodded almost like he was proud, giving the guy props for what he'd done, even if that meant taking out his own wife. Roland's legs buckle, and he just drops to the ground. All his energy's gone, like he can't push himself anymore. It's not just his body that's done. He looks totally drained, like he can't fight it any longer. He tries to grab hold of the life he once imagined, but it's already slipped out of reach. The demon lord grinned, thinking to himself that the hero had finally made up his mind, but it was way too late for that now. The villain walked away, already sure he'd won. He didn't even bother to look back, leaving the guy lying there, hurt and losing blood. But then his eyes open again. There's something different about them now, something cold and distant that wasn't there before. He glances around, totally lost in this unfamiliar place. He stands alone in a huge empty space, not sure if this is what comes after death. When he glances back, his right arm is gone, a clear sign that things went really wrong. He remembers the last thing she said to him. It sticks with him, heavy and painful, almost like an order he can't ignore. She wanted him to keep going, even if he had to go against her to survive. He tightens his fist, realizing he let himself down again. He passed away just after she did, and that left him stuck wondering if anything they did even made a difference. Guilt kept eating at him, since he thought she'd had a better ending than what she got. Someone steps in, quietly letting him know he got it wrong. She actually felt happy. He glances up and spots a bright, winged figure coming down right in front of him. Turns out her name is Angel Myosotis, so this isn't the afterlife, just another kind of strange. Roland stands there, not sure what's going on. Before he can even ask, she interrupts him and tells him they have to move fast. She lets him know that was actually happy, even if the reason didn't really make sense. Lets him know that deep down, he's actually a good guy. She quickly lets him know she isn't, especially with what she's about to bring up. She gives him another shot at living, and something inside him snaps. All that anger bubbling up pushes him to promise himself he's going to take down the demon lord no matter what. The angel looks straight ahead, her face giving nothing away. As she started the spell, a bright golden light burst out, lighting up everything around her. It was impossible not to notice. Everyone nearby could see the power she was working with. Out of nowhere, Roland drops into this weird space, like he's falling through a giant checkerboard. He doesn't know what's going on, and everything around him looks off, with lines and squares stretching out in every direction. All around him, the emptiness starts to change. Suddenly, tons of glowing cubes appear, floating in the air and lighting up the darkness. He drops through the sky, not really sure what's going on with this weird, blocky way of coming back to life. She tells him that after he finishes what he's supposed to do, he'll get what he wants too. She goes ahead and apologizes, making it clear that getting another shot isn't going to be free. He falls fast through the roaring storm, his mind racing as he tries to figure out if the Demon Lord is really finished. He wakes up fast, blinking against the rain hitting his face, slowly realizing that he's back. The angel's words hit hard as he realizes his world-class sword skills are gone for good. But instead of giving him her arm, she hands him something else. He wakes up on the wet ground, rain pouring down around him. Right beside him is not moving at all. He pushes himself upright, realizing he messed up. The weight of what just happened settles in, and he can't help but feel disappointed in himself. His right arm isn't missing anymore. Now there's this massive, twisted limb where his arm used to be. It looks nothing like a normal human arm, almost like something out of a nightmare. He's supposed to use this thing in battle, but every time he picks it up, it just reminds him of what happened to her. He wraps his arms around her and holds her tight as the rain pours down. Everything feels heavy and quiet between them, and it's like the world just fades out for a second while they stand there together, soaked and not saying anything. Pain twists across his face as he wakes up to a whole new mess, like a hero dropped straight into another bad dream. He screams, his voice raw and loud, like everything inside him just broke at once. With the Demon Lord gone, Roland just stands there, surrounded by everything that's been destroyed. It's quiet now, but nothing feels right. All around him are the broken pieces of what used to be his world, and he's not sure what to do next. Rain poured down, soaking the twisted remains of the woman he cared about. Sometime later, he finds himself standing in front of a plain grave. The quiet spot reminds him of everything he couldn't fix. He holds her ring tightly in his hand. It's all he has left of what they could have been, a reminder of the life he lost. He sits by himself, lost in his own head. The sadness sticks with him, heavy and hard to shake, following him everywhere he goes. He shows up with a fresh style, his eyes hidden under a cap, but that strange, beast-like arm still sits on his shoulder for everyone to see. He thinks about her and feels bad, knowing he has to fight with this cursed arm. But just as he's lost in his thoughts, something unexpected cuts him off. He noticed the animals around here weren't as chill as he remembered. They seemed a lot more on edge, almost like they were ready to pick a fight just for the sake of it. He spots the ripped-up clothes hanging off the beast, and it hits him. He knows those clothes. He starts to think about the rest of the village, and can't help but worry that everyone else might have ended up like. He knows he can't give up now. His mission is just getting started, and there's no way he's letting it end here. He braces himself, knowing what he's about to do isn't easy. Inside, he feels a bit guilty for hurting someone who probably doesn't deserve it, but he pushes those thoughts aside and gets ready to take down the villager. As he goes for the swing, his cursed arm suddenly jerks out of control, making him drop the blade completely. The weapon slips from his grip and hits the ground, leaving him with nothing to protect himself. He just stands there, eyes wide, barely able to hold onto his sword. Everything feels unreal, like his hands aren't even working right. He remembered what the angel had said earlier. Back then, it didn't make sense, but now it finally clicked. He finally understands just how much his second chance is costing him, and the weight of it hits hard. After figuring that out, the monsters start to close in, ready to attack. Roland's sword was busted, so he figured he had to go at it with just his fist. He swings his fist, and a blast of red energy bursts out, tearing through everything in its path. The monster doesn't even stand a chance. In a split second, its chest is blown wide open, leaving a huge hole right through the middle. Roland looks down at his arm, barely believing what just happened. He can still feel the power rushing through him, and it leaves him a bit breathless. It's not every day something like this goes down, and for a second he just stands there trying to take it all in. He barely gets a second to react before another monster comes at him, aiming straight for his neck. He steps forward and faces the creature without backing down, catching its open jaws with just his bare hand. He stands there, eyes wide, completely rattled by what just happened. The creature drops to the ground, blood soaking into the dirt around it. He stands over the villager who's lying on the ground, the fight finally over. It didn't end well, and the whole thing just feels heavy. He looks down at the massive arm, finally getting that it's not just some upgrade. It comes with a bunch of heavy stuff he's not sure how to handle. Roland heard a scream somewhere far off while he tried to figure out where his strange new power was coming from. He isn't by himself out there. Across the burning street, someone else is still standing, watching him through the smoke and flickering flames. Roland turns around, keeping his face pretty blank. The weird glow from his cursed arm hasn't faded yet, making him stand out in the dim light. The villager's face goes pale, his eyes wide as he stares at what's in front of him. He just stands there, frozen, not really understanding what he's he's looking at. He spots the hero right away, but what really throws him off is the weird, monster-like arm stuck to the guy. The man panics when he sees Roland, his fear obvious as he backs away fast and bolts, desperate to get away. Roland freezes for a second, his mind racing as he realizes just how messy this is about to get. This isn't just a small problem. Everyone's about to hear about it, and he knows it's going to blow up fast. The villager takes one look and bolts, running off as fast as he can. It's obvious he wants nothing to do with whatever's happening, just trying to get away before anything else goes down. In his head, it finally clicks. What everyone thought was their hero is actually the devil. He found himself staring at a mess that looked really bad, and his mind immediately jumped to the worst-case scenario. The scene changes to a wrecked empty land, flames tearing through everything. There's no one around, just ruined ground and smoke filling the sky, making it clear that people are long gone. As the fire raged all around, a voice came out of nowhere. It sounded almost like the flames themselves were talking, asking if anyone really thought they'd make it out untouched. At the same time, guys hanging out at a tavern started hearing whispers about Roland coming back. News like that didn't stay quiet for long. Everyone seemed to be talking about it, passing the story from table to table. Some guy said he caught Roland fighting monsters, and then going after the villagers too. Things start heating up, and suddenly everyone sees Roland as the guy who wiped out his own village. Word spread fast. The kingdom which used to cheer for the hero was now chasing him down. At one of the crowded tables, a woman sits with her head down, looking pretty down about the latest news. Word's gotten around that the hero everyone used to look up to has been called a monster now. She can't help but think about how things used to be, and it's clear the whole thing just weighs on her. Everyone online thought they already knew the truth. People were quick to judge, like always, and nobody seemed interested in hearing the whole story. In the middle of all the chaos, a sad memory slips into his mind. He remembers his brother, the one who's gone. Roland wandered deep into the empty Dendron wasteland, far away from the rumors and gossip that used to follow him. The place stretched out in every direction, silent and rough, with nothing but dust and broken ground. Out here, he could finally catch his breath, away from everyone's eyes and the noise of the world he left behind. He spent days out in the wasteland, pushing himself to get the hang of his strange, cursed new arm. Every day was tough, but he kept at it, determined to figure out how to control it. Even when he got frustrated, he didn't stop, knowing he had to get stronger if he wanted to survive out there. But there's one big problem with the new arm. No matter how hard he tries, it just won't grip his sword. Things took a rough turn for the world's top swordsman. Even though he always seemed unbeatable, life threw him something he never saw coming. He can't stop thinking about the moment his own sword brought everything to an end last time. The memory sticks with him, popping up when he least expects it, like a bad dream he can't shake off. He decides it's time to really get the hang of this new power. He knows his fighting skills up close aren't great, so he wants to make sure he can actually handle himself if things go wrong. He's deep into his solo training, focused and in the zone when someone suddenly calls out to him. It's the last thing he wants right now. A guy with bright pink hair dropped down from above, swinging his leg for a hard kick straight at the other guy's head. She swings hard, and her hit lands with full force, knocking her opponent off balance. He blocks it without even trying. That new arm reacts fast, way faster than he expected. He glances up and sees who it is, the knight. Freezes, surprised that he can still talk. He was sure he'd lost all control and turned into some kind of wild animal. She fired up her gauntlets, ready to take him on right then and there. Roland steps toward her, hoping he can calm her down or at least get her to listen, but she just yells louder. She doesn't trust anything he says and looks at him like he's the enemy. She stares at him, hurt and confused, struggling to recognize the brother she always admired. She charges at him, tears running down her face. Hurt and angry, she pushes forward, thinking about how he could never have left her sister behind. Her thoughts jump back to a gray, quiet day, the day everything changed and the group she calls family first came together. Remembered being really young, sitting alone and crying after her parents were gone. The pain was still fresh, and she just couldn't stop the tears. Even now, that memory stuck with her. A little kid, missing her family and not knowing what to do next. The three orphans stand quietly in front of two graves. Everything around them feels different now, like the world they knew is gone. Wraps her arms around her, holding her close. She silently promises herself that she'll step up now, taking on the role of the mother the girl lost. Looked up, her eyes full of hope, waiting to find out who would be their dad. She glanced over at Roland, almost like she was wishing he'd be the one. Roland wasn't expecting that at all. The request came out of nowhere and just left him frozen for a second. He didn't know what to say or do, kind of wishing he could just disappear. He reaches out and brings them in for a hug, letting them know he's got their back like an older brother would. He glanced at their faces for a moment. Something shifted inside him. Right then, he decided he was going to step up and be their dad. Here's the promise, and for the first time in a while, the sadness starts to lift. It's like something inside him finally clicks. He doesn't feel so weighed down anymore, and there's this small spark of hope that wasn't there before. She holds on to him, letting herself settle into this strange, new little family they've got going. Thinks back to when she was really happy, convinced that she and her partner would stay together no matter what. That good memory from before now pushes her anger as she charges forward. The fight keeps going, both sides pushing hard while someone, or something, huge and creepy watches from the darkness where no one else sees. She keeps swinging at him, her fists lighting up with anger that everyone can see. Each hit comes fast and hard, and it's clear she's not holding back. The brother and sister faced off, both giving it their all. Every move was fast and intense, each hit landing harder than the last. Neither wanted to back down, and the fight between them turned serious with no sign of letting up. Steps forward and throws out both hands, slamming her palms into her target with everything she's got. All the hurt she's been carrying comes out in that one move, hitting harder than anyone would have expected. Roland's cursed arm blocks the attack without any trouble. The hit is so strong that the ground underneath him splits, leaving cracks where he stood. His eyes stay calm and focused, totally different from the wild energy running through his arm. She looked at him, thinking he was way too stubborn for his own good. In her mind, the only way to help him was to end things for him, like that was the only way he'd finally be free. He tries hard to get his point across, hoping everyone sees that he hasn't changed, even though his arm looks totally messed up. She interrupts him, her voice shaky as she tries to get out the question that's been weighing on her mind. He started to wonder if the guy really wasn't a monster, but that just made things more confusing. Where could be? And then there was that grave waiting for him back home, making everything even weirder. She can't hold it in anymore. All the sadness and anger she's been carrying just spill out, and she needs to understand what went so wrong in their world. Glanced off to the side, not meeting her eyes. He wanted to know if she'd actually seen what happened herself. She ignores what he says and sticks to her own beliefs. She thinks monsters can't be trusted, and brings up the promise he made to look after their family. She decides she has to help her brother, convinced that letting him go is the only way to give him peace. Her gauntlets lit up, buzzing with serious power that looked like it could break anything in their way. She rushes forward, trying to take him down with one strong hit. She yells at him, telling him to stay put and just let things end the way she wants. She smashes her fist into the ground, and the rocks around her burst apart with a loud crack. Dust flies up everywhere as her special move takes over, showing just how strong she really is. The wasteland shakes as the ground cracks wide open from her hit. Dirt and rocks fly everywhere, and the whole place seems to break apart just from her strength. Stands in the middle of the dust, looking serious and focused. She's not backing down, even though the air around her feels heavy. Roland had already dodged out of the way, landing steady on a sharp, freshly risen chunk of rock. He sees that she's so lost in her sadness, there's no way she'll hear him out right now. He gets why she looks at him like that now. She lost her sister, and to her, he's pretty much the bad guy. Next time the family gets together, it's definitely not going to be easy. He starts to notice that what she's dealing with isn't just about some confusion or small problem. There's something heavier going on, something that's been bothering her for a while. He can't help but remember seeing lying there, not moving. The image keeps popping into his head, heavy and impossible to shake. He doesn't even know where to start or how to say what really happened. The truth is so messed up, he just stands there stuck with his thoughts all over the place. He's sure he didn't do it. He knows he couldn't have, but whatever really happened is way worse than he wants to admit. Sadness had turned into something solid inside him. Now, he was sure of what he had to do, and nothing was going to throw him off. He knows there's no point trying to talk sense into her right now. He figures the move is to just vanish. Just as things start to get heated with their family problems, someone shows up who definitely wasn't expected. Anger fades fast when she realizes something new is coming. She gets tense, her mind racing as she tries to figure out what's happening. Whatever it is, it's enough to make her forget about being mad. A massive creature steps out from the darkness behind her, its huge shape making everything else seem small. Anger fades fast when she suddenly notices someone else behind her. The surprise hits her hard, and she tenses up, not sure what to expect. She barely has time to react before the massive creature comes at her, moving way faster than anyone would expect from something that big. She gets knocked back hard, slamming straight into the canyon wall. The hit is brutal, and anyone watching can tell it hurts a lot. She's lying on the ground, beat up and exhausted, barely able to raise her head out of the dirt. The monster towers above her, its shadow stretching across the ground. It lifts its weapon high, ready to bring it down and end things for good. Just then, something red flashes by and blocks the attack, making the beast freeze where it stands. Glances up, not really sure what to think. The person she thought was her enemy is now the only one standing between her and whatever trouble's coming. Roland's cursed arm blasted right through the monster's chest. That was a total turnaround from before. His eyes look icy and locked in, like someone who's already lost everything and isn't afraid of what comes next. He thinks about everything they've taken from him, his whole life, the person he cared about most, and now even his patience is gone. Just stands there frozen, staring at the huge, beastly arm in front of her. It's hard to believe that something so scary looking just saved her. He notices the demons are after now, too. He stands there, his jaw tight and eyes narrowed, locking in his decision. Inside, he's got this steady calm, almost icy, like he's made up his mind and nothing's going to shake it. He doesn't say a word, but it's clear. He's not backing down, and whatever he's planning, he's serious about seeing it through. He focuses all his anger into his cursed arm, his eyes locked in with pure payback. He stands firm, energy building around him. In one powerful move, he unleashes a blast, determined to wipe out every last one of them. Blood splattered across the broken ground, with rocks cracked and scattered everywhere. The monster monster was gone, completely destroyed, leaving just a mess behind. When he touched the beast, something changed inside him. He could feel its power moving into his own arm, almost like a rush of energy he couldn't explain. It was strange and a little overwhelming, but he knew right away that he wasn't the same as before. He stares at the wreckage all around him, and it finally hits him just how dangerous this cursed power really is. The power coming from him is wild and intense, not at all like the calm and kind person he usually is. This power isn't about creating or helping, it just destroys and takes away. With the fight finally done, everyone gathers around the fire. The glow lights up their tired faces as secrets start to surface, and what really happened comes into the open. Tries to wrap his head around what just happened. The demon lord showing up hits him hard, and it honestly freaks him out. Suddenly everything made sense. Couldn't get the memory out of her head. It was like her transformation played on repeat, haunting her every thought. She stands there completely silent as everything sinks in. It's like the world just flipped upside down, and she doesn't even know what to say or do next. Roland steps forward and owns up to what happened. He's weighed down by guilt, knowing deep down that he let her down and couldn't keep her safe. He looks distant and sad, like something heavy is still hanging over him. That old promise won't let go, and it shows on his face. His eyes fill up and tears start rolling down her cheeks. For the first time, she really gets just how much he's been hurting. She's eaten up by guilt, but Roland steps in and lets her know it's not her fault. He keeps blaming himself for not keeping safe, thinking it's all his fault. His sadness didn't last long. Pretty soon, anger took over, and he locked his sights on the person who started everything. He thinks that without his sword, he doesn't really belong anywhere with the others anymore. He's determined to track down the demon lord and finish things himself, ready to use his own strength to put an end to it. Sadness slowly turns into a calm determination that nothing can break. She didn't want him to go alone. If he was heading into a fight, she was determined to stick by his side, ready to face whatever came next together. She rests her hand on his, letting him know she's got his back. It's a small move, but he can tell she means it. He thinks about how she always brings up what they've been through together, how they stuck by each other when everything fell apart. Even now, he can't help but remember that they made their own kind of family after all the stuff they survived. She stands firm, letting him know she's not backing down. This isn't just his problem anymore. It's something they both have to deal with together. Her words finally get through to him. For a while, he'd been stuck in his own head, feeling down and sorry for himself. But now, something clicks. It's like a weight lifts off his shoulders, and he starts to see things a little clearer. He starts to understand that he wasn't the only person missing that day. Both of them, still hurting from what happened, start working together. They're not just sad anymore. They're set on getting back at the ones who caused them pain. Their loss turns into a goal they're both serious about. Sadness starts to fade, turning into something tougher inside her. She doesn't let herself fall apart. Instead, she stands up, her mind set on what she has to do next. She's all set to start fresh. But Roland points out something important. They still need to figure out where their target is. The demon lord drifts around like a shadow, popping up without warning and wrecking everything in his path. Wherever he goes, nothing good is left behind. Roland thinks back to that single moment when the big boss actually noticed him. Taking out General was what brought him here in the first place. So now there's only one thing left to do: take out everyone standing in the way. Nods, looking like she's got a plan already. She doesn't waste any time, heading straight for her first move like she's done this before. She lets Roland know he's not the only person with a huge price on his head. The next mission was all about a group called the Seven Spirits of. Just hearing that name was enough to give anyone the creeps. Rumor had it that something strange was going on in Old Castle. People were saying some kind of fire ghost had moved in. If what people are saying turns out to be true, that's exactly where they'll start looking to get back at the ones who messed with them. Roland's face turns serious, and it's obvious he knows exactly what he needs to do next. He nods, accepting the new mission. Even though he doesn't say much, it's clear he's ready to move on. The two of them headed out, determined to find Ghost. They didn't really know what to expect, but they stuck together, ready for whatever weird stuff might come their way. They head north, moving through the empty wastelands, aiming for the old general's broken-down castle. Roland was on the run now, keeping his head down and avoiding the main roads. He changed up his look and stuck to paths most people didn't use, always watching his back. Keeps an eye on him, quietly worried about what might happen next. He thinks back to when things used to be way easier between them. Back then, hanging out felt simple, and their adventures were just about having fun, nothing complicated. For the past 2 years, he's noticed that every mission he got was either something straight from the king, or a job that almost nobody came back from. No matter how good she was, he knew these missions were way too dangerous for her. He just couldn't let her get involved, not when things could go sideways so fast. She stands her ground, sure that she's tougher now, and really believes that together nothing can stop them. Even when he was at his strongest, he knew he couldn't beat the Demon Lord. Believed that if all three of them had teamed up, they might have actually had a shot. He thinks back to what the angel said. Even though things seem pretty rough right now, that promise sticks with him, giving him a bit of hope when everything else feels heavy. She decides that until that day finally arrives, the three of them are going to stick together and keep fighting as a team. He notices her trying to act tough, clearly hoping it'll help him snap out of his sadness. He remembers the way was there for after they lost their parents, always making sure she felt safe even when things were really rough. He noticed that was starting to look a lot like her older sister. Seeing how determined she is, he starts to feel more confident. Her energy rubs off on him, and he decides to go along with her plan, hoping things might actually work out. Her smile finally looks real, and having something they both care about gives her energy again. He knew he'd messed up and couldn't stop thinking about where he went wrong, but after seeing, something changed. Now he actually wanted to keep going. She made things feel possible again. He decides right then that he's going to use this cursed power to keep safe, no matter what it takes. They finally reach their destination, the castle where General lives. The place looks huge and kind of creepy, with tall stone walls that seem to swallow up the little bit of light around. It's the kind of spot you see in games or movies, where you just know something wild is about to go down. Wondered if things were any different now compared to the last time he faced the general in this spot. Roland looks around at the ruins he knows so well. Everything's still the same, just like when he was last here. The place still looks the same as it did after he won last time, kind of like nobody's been here since. It's quiet and almost feels frozen in time, reminding him of what happened before. Something stands out to him. The fire on the throne is still burning, which means hasn't died. He lets know to stay alert, pretty sure their target is hiding out nearby where they can't see. Just then, an unexpected voice breaks the quiet and lets him know he's got it wrong. Both warriors quickly turned, bracing themselves for what was coming next. Someone new stepped out, catching their attention and making them tense up, each one ready for whatever challenge this new arrival might bring. The young guy showed up and said his name was. He turned out to be the castle's caretaker, which was unexpected because he seemed way more relaxed than anyone would imagine for that job. Instantly recognizes Roland and can't believe he's standing right there. It's like he's trying to figure out how Roland managed to survive. He smirked to himself, remembering the rumor going around that the demon lord had just finished rolling out. Roland doesn't say anything back. Instead, he just steps up and throws a heavy punch with his cursed arm, not holding back at all. The caretaker moved out of the way, so fast it didn't even look real, clearly annoyed that someone had disturbed him. Jumps in and throws her own attack, but doesn't even flinch. He stands there like it's nothing, barely reacting as if he's used to stuff like this. He blocks her attack without breaking a sweat, moving so fast that she doesn't even see it coming. Both of them notice right away. This caretaker moves way quicker than General ever did. Doesn't look like he wants to start a fight. Instead, he's got his eyes on something different, almost like he's got another plan in mind. He looked over at Roland's twisted arm and instantly got what had happened to him. The sight hit hard, making it clear that Roland had been through something rough. He couldn't help but crack up, already thinking about how the demon lord needed to hear this wild news. Roland wants answers. He's trying to figure out who this new enemy is and can't understand why he's still around. The whole thing doesn't add up, and he's not about to let it slide. Just smirked, looking like he couldn't believe a demon would bother with a human at all. He lets everyone know they can ask him one question, and it's obvious he's enjoying being in control for a moment. He lets everyone know that he's heading straight for, planning to take out anyone who's still alive. The news lands hard, almost knocking the air out of them. It's just one more thing their broken home has to deal with. Stands there with a smug look, pretty much daring them to come at him. He knows they've got bigger problems to deal with and can't afford to get sidetracked by him right now. It's like he's enjoying the moment, fully aware that their attention is needed somewhere else. He just stands there, not even moving, almost like he's playing mind games without breaking a sweat. It's clear he knows exactly how to mess with people without actually doing anything. Could tell something was off. She looked at Roland, her gut telling her they shouldn't stick around. The place just felt wrong, like they were about to run straight into trouble. She wanted him to get out of there before it was too late. Roland looks away, determined not to leave anyone behind if he can help it. He walks away from, making it clear with his attitude that this isn't over. He's got unfinished business and plans to come back for. Pretends to be scared, but honestly, he doesn't care at all about what the hero just said. He lets it be known that he isn't planning to tell the demon lord about any of this. Honestly, with a story this good, no one wants any spoilers. Back in, the village was burning. Flames had already taken over most of the houses, lighting up the night sky. People ran around trying to save what they could, but the fire kept spreading, making it almost impossible to stop. The whole place looked completely different now, nothing like the quiet village it used to be. A young boy is trapped in the grip of a huge, creepy hand. Fear takes over as he tries to break free, but the monster's hold is too strong. His heart races and his eyes dart around, hoping someone will help. General showed up again, looking for answers about where Roland's body was. He wasn't messing around, and everyone could tell he wanted the truth right away. He thinks about how proud he is to have his spot working for the demon lord. It's not just a job for him. He actually believes it's something special, like he's part of something bigger. Even though most people would be nervous or scared, he stands tall, knowing he's got an important role on the team. He can't shake off what happened last time. Losing still sticks in his mind, creeping back whenever he least expects it. He just can't handle the idea of being the first executive to lose to a regular human. The thought gets under his skin, making him clench his fists and grit his teeth. It isn't just about pride. It's like his whole reputation is on the line, and he hates that everyone might see him as weak now. He decides he's not done yet and wants another shot, so he sets his sights on the villagers first. He comes back looking like he's been through the worst and isn't planning to lose again. There's this fire in his eyes like nothing's going to stop him now. The boy, clearly scared, can't stop thinking about Roland. He remembers all those rumors going around that Roland turned into some kind of monster. The resurrected general wasn't expecting that news at all. It hit him out of nowhere, and for a moment he just stood there, trying to process what he'd just heard. He pushes the boy out of the way, realizing the kid's story isn't lining up with what's in the report. The kid just stands there frozen, his eyes wide and his face pale. He can't move or say anything, completely locked up by fear. The general stands tall right in front of him, looking serious and wanting to know everything that just happened. Just as he's about to get some answers, someone he really doesn't want to hear from interrupts him. Roland showed up, catching off guard. He honestly didn't expect to see Roland there, and it showed on his face. Roland doesn't just let it slide. He fires the same attitude right back at him, keeping things even between them. Lets out a laugh, clearly amused by how things have turned out. He seems pretty pleased, almost like he's relieved he won't have to go through the hassle of finding a place to bury anyone. For him, this just made things a whole lot easier. Lets out a fierce roar, making it clear he wants another fight. This time, he's not holding back. Roland just stares back, his face unreadable and icy. It's clear he thinks the other guy messed up big time. The general looks at everything stopping them from having their rematch. Stands her ground, not letting anyone push her aside. She's determined to be part of what's coming, showing everyone that she's just as involved in this as the rest of them. Roland lifts his cursed arm, blocking her path just before she can rush forward. Doesn't waste any time. He slams his hand down and suddenly the ground cracks open. Flames shoot up, and out of nowhere, an army of soldiers made of fire starts crawling out, ready to fight. He lays out what he wants to do, keeping it straightforward. The new guys he controls are about to set fire to the village, with everyone still inside. He gives a choice. She can focus on helping the villagers, but that means leaving Roland on his own. She's stunned by how cruel he is. In her eyes, he's gone too far, and it's hard for her to even look at him the same way. The way he thinks just doesn't make sense to her, and she can't shake how messed up it all feels. Lays out his rules. He wants a fair fight, just him and his opponent, promising that the village will be safe if they go through with it. He acts like it's all about respect and doing things the right way. Stayed right next to her brother, not budging at all. She was set on helping him, no matter what. Roland steps up and tells her to watch over the villagers. He's got his eyes on, ready to take him on by himself. She believed in him. He'd beaten this guy before, and she could see he still carried that same confidence now. She promises to be back soon, then takes off running to help the people in trouble. Looks over at Roland, his mind set on changing the way things have always been between them. He spots the massive, twisted arm and knows right away that this is going to be different than before. The general stares at the sword that beat him, clearly frustrated that he can't break it. Roland doesn't waste any time. He lifts his cursed hand, basically challenging the guy to make a move. Rolled his eyes at the hero's usual calm act. To him, the hero was just as boring as always, never showing much emotion and always acting the same way. The resurrected general lets out a loud roar, raising his weapon and slamming it down to kick off the battle. Never really felt as confident as he looked. He just put on a brave face to help feel better about everything. Inside, he was just as unsure as anyone else, but he didn't want her to see that. Without his sword, he could tell he wasn't at his best. Meanwhile, seemed more confident than ever, looking like he was ready to take on anything. The general's weapon comes down, showing everyone that things have totally changed. He doesn't back down. No matter what's thrown at him, he's not giving up. He takes the hit head on, using his cursed arm like it's just another weapon he owns. He doesn't go straight in for the hit. Instead, he shifts to the side, letting his instincts as a swordsman guide him, and redirects the force away with his blade. He quickly dodges to the side, just barely missing the worst of the powerful hit. He notices his reflexes are still on point. Looks like even after all this time, he's still picking up new moves. Here's his excuse and doesn't buy it for a second. He steps forward, not holding back at all, and hits back way harder than before. Roland takes the hit hard and gets launched into the air, totally out of control. He clenches his jaw, suddenly aware that swinging a sword is nothing like just throwing a punch. The distance, the timing, it all hits him at once, making him rethink his next move. Watched as Roland pulled back, noticing how Roland still found a way to make things less harsh, even while stepping away. The general, not one for holding back anymore, opens his mouth and starts pulling fire together, getting ready to go all out. Roland stands frozen, eyes wide as the next attack comes at him way faster than he expected. There's nothing he can do except stare, heart-pounding, as everything goes down in front of him. Lets out a roar that shakes the whole area, blasting out a wave of power that tears through everything in its path. The blast hit the hero hard, tossing him backward and swallowing him up in the chaos. He hit the ground hard, beat up and sore, and it hit him that these dark flames were way tougher than last time. Roland looks at the heavy weapons aimed his way, and already knows he's outmatched. There's no way this fight is leaning his way with that much firepower pointed at him. Gives him a look, kind of daring him to prove that the monstrous arm isn't just for show. Roland's face changes as it hits him that something he thought before might have been totally wrong. Roland squinted, locking his gaze on his target. He looked determined, ready to show everyone what his arm was really capable of. Doesn't waste time talking. He just rushes in, ready to finish things right away. The general swings his weapon down hard, and Roland realizes that trying to block it straight on would be a terrible idea. Right as the hit comes down, he suddenly gets it. Something isn't right. He doesn't dodge this time. Instead, he grabs the blade with his cursed arm, holding it steady. He knows he's out of options, so he goes for it and lets the real power loose. He triggers the arm of usurpation, a power that lets him grab what he wants instead of handing anything over. Suddenly feels his energy slipping away, way faster than he expected. It hits him hard and he can't hold back. He just yells out, completely caught off guard by how weak he's getting all of a sudden. The cursed limb pulls in the general's dark flames, taking them over like they belong to it now. Suddenly the hero pulls off a new move, catching everyone off guard. Watches and clearly isn't impressed. He lets loose the stolen power, sending out a powerful blast of red energy. Roland stands in the middle of the smoke, eyes locked on the guy across from him. Barely reacts, just noticing that the attack didn't really do anything to him. He thought the stolen power was unexpected, but it didn't seem like something that could actually cause trouble. The general looks at Roland's new form and can't help but think things have taken a bad turn. He's clearly uncomfortable, almost disturbed by how strange Roland looks now, wishing things hadn't ended up this way. Hearing that word hits him hard. Right away, his cursed arm starts to throb, shadows moving under his skin like something alive. Roland says the insult again, but this time his voice drops, and you can tell he's really mad. He stands his ground, not letting get away with making fun of her arm. In his mind, nobody should have to put up with that kind of disrespect, and he isn't afraid to show where he stands. The general pauses for a second, not sure what to make of the hero's odd way of speaking. But then, when the truth hits him, he can't help it. He just bursts out laughing, puts it together in his head, and figures out that the arm must be from Roland's monstrous girlfriend. The taunt gets to Roland, and guilt starts to weigh on him for letting down. Steps up his game, making it clear that could end up just like the others if things don't go his way. Roland can barely focus on his sadness. All he can think about is getting stronger. That need for power is taking over everything else in his mind. The general stands tall, his eyes locked on his opponent. He's determined not to let this battle slip away again. With a deep breath, he gets ready to end things, focusing all his energy on winning this time. He lets out another angry roar, sending out a blast of wild, burning fire. Roland doesn't back down. He's set on taking all that power for himself, no matter what. He clenches his jaw as the blast hits him straight on, his cursed arm taking all of it. The explosion rips through the village, which is already on fire. Once the smoke faded away, was just standing there in the middle of the crater like nothing happened. It wasn't exactly the exciting result everyone expected. Stands there with a smug grin, looking totally fine after the blast, like nothing even touched him. At first, he feels pretty sure of himself, but then something feels off. That confidence he had just slips away as he realizes something isn't right. Roland gets serious and decides it's time to give up all his power. He stands there, ready to let go of everything he's got left. When he took the hit, his cursed arm started burning with a dark, wild flame. Didn't expect Roland to pull this off. He watched as Roland used the very power that was known for, and it really threw him off. It took a second for it to sink in. Roland had actually managed to take his special move. Just stood there, not sure what to think as he tried to process how this even happened. He spots a big problem in the hero's risky move. Roland took the hit head-on, but it was way too much for him. His arm got totally wrecked. It was broken, and there was smoke coming off it, making the pain hard to ignore. Roland tries to brush it off like it's nothing, acting like he's fine, but can tell he's putting on an act. He watches Roland closely, not fooled for a second. The general moves in fast, determined to take the guy down with another heavy hit. Roland knows what really happened. The hits he took weren't just a few scratches. He's hurting way more than he lets on. His arm starts to burn, heated by the stolen fire and his own strength working together. He decides he's going to hit back even harder, determined to show he's not someone you mess with. His fist smashes into the general's weapon, breaking it apart like it's nothing. Gets knocked backward, totally caught off guard by what just happened. He didn't see it coming at all, and for a second he just tries to process everything, not sure how to react. Roland lets everyone know he's using the flames to boost his punch, kind of like a rocket attached to his fist. It's a wild move, but it makes sense once you see it in action. The general looked down at what was left of his hammer. For the first time, he didn't seem so sure of himself. He just laughed it off, not taking Roland too seriously. He thought Roland was getting ahead of himself, acting tough with power that wasn't even his. He's getting ready to show everyone how a tiny spark can turn into something way bigger. He points out that Roland's stolen power doesn't even come close to the real deal. He lets out a loud yell, and suddenly it's like fire bursts from him. Flames cover his whole body, turning him into something almost unreal. It's clear that this is the real strength he's been holding back all along. Just grins and shakes his head, clearly enjoying himself. He acts like the other guy has no chance, almost like he's saying only someone way older and more experienced could even think about controlling fire. A huge blade made of fire comes crashing down, but Roland steps up and blocks it with his cursed arm. The hit lands hard, way harder than anything our hero has faced before. He can barely stay on his feet, using every bit of strength just to hold himself up. Finished up her cleaning and headed back to where everything was happening. She looks serious now, knowing her brother is out there dealing with something huge. Bright red and blue energy crashed together as Roland stood his ground, not giving an inch. Thinks Roland's just being stubborn, but Roland doesn't back down. He stands his ground, facing the raging fire, not letting it scare him off. The general just laughed, looking confident as ever. He made it clear that his firepower was about to level up, and anyone watching could tell he wasn't bluffing. Roland clenched his jaw, trying hard to hold on as the power slammed into him. It felt like everything was about to come crashing down, but he refused to back off. He notices his arm can handle the heat just fine, but the rest of his body is starting to get way too hot, like he's about to get burned. Roland looks at all that firepower and suddenly gets it. This is exactly what he needs right now. Honestly, this wild amount of energy is the only way he can win. Freezes, caught off guard as he sees Roland taking in even more of his fire. The general isn't backing off. He decides to push things even further, determined to make things even tougher for everyone. He lets loose a massive blast, aiming to push the hero way past his limit. The explosion rips through the village, blowing apart houses and sending debris everywhere. Everything the people knew is suddenly in pieces, scattered across the ground. The once quiet streets are wrecked, leaving the whole place barely recognizable. The ground breaks apart beneath him, and the air around him buzzes with wild, powerful energy. Both fighters go all out, pushing themselves to the limit as they battle for control. Neither one is backing down, each determined to come out on top. Their energy fills the air, and anyone watching can tell this is the moment where everything gets decided. Got launched through the air. The force he tried to use ended up backfiring on him. Roland watched as the general started to fall apart, his strength fading with every second. It was clear Roland was draining the power right out of him, and there was nothing the general could do to stop it. His once strong stance broke down, and he looked weaker than ever. Roland looked at the general, making sure he remembered what he'd promised. Even with fire burning against his arm, Roland didn't flinch. He kept his focus, standing strong through the heat. He lets out a loud yell, making it clear he's not backing down. In his mind, he's all in, determined to strip away everything the general's got, no matter what it takes. Just stands there frozen as he feels his strength slipping out of him. He can't really process what's happening. 1 second he's fine, the next everything feels weaker, like someone's draining all his energy. All he can do is watch, stuck in that moment, completely thrown off by how fast things changed. The cursed arm starts acting weird, turning into a swirling mess that sucks in all the dark flames around it. The general drops his head, barely able to speak. He watches as his signature power slips away completely out of his hands. All he can do now is accept the loss. His body starts falling apart, breaking down into ash now that the fire inside him is gone. The general, who used to be unstoppable, just disappears. All the chances he had to turn things around slip away, leaving nothing behind. Right as he vanishes, gets hit with a strange, cold sensation he's never felt before. It's like the world just turned icy for him, and for a second it almost feels like everything's frozen over. Roland stands over what's left of his enemy, breathing heavy. The fight is over now, and he's finally won. He figures out that he hasn't just used the power for a bit. He's actually taken hold of its core, owning it for real now. He realizes there's no way he can pull off that last crazy power move again. Now he knows exactly what he has to do. Find every general out there and take their power for himself. He thinks about hoping her memory will give him the strength he needs. But then, right when things are at their worst, his voice suddenly stands out, breaking through the chaos around him. She hurries over to him, checking to see if he's okay, and trying to figure out what happened with the other demons. Finished off all the minions, making sure none were left. Now it was just her and Ash. She keeps looking at where he's hurt, but he just shrugs it off like it's nothing. She wants him to get out of there, because she knows all the noise and trouble is going to attract a squad. He can't keep it up any longer. His body just gives out, and all that tough guy front he was putting on slips away as he stumbles, wincing from the pain. She notices that his sadness is pushing him to fight way harder than usual. He's not holding back, almost like he doesn't care what happens to him. It's obvious he's changed, and the way he's fighting now isn't like him at all. Right then, she decides she's not going to let him fall apart. She's determined to be there for him, holding things together when he's close to losing it. Stuck close to her brother, making sure he didn't rush ahead as they walked out of the ruins. She kept an eye on him, always ready to help if he started to get impatient. Even though things felt tense, she stayed by his side, steady and calm, guiding him through the old stones until they finally step back into the open. Just as they're about to get away, the group runs right into the villagers they just helped out. The escape comes to a stop. Nobody saw that coming. The survivors stood there, surrounded by fire, watching their hero walk away. None of them moved. The heat from the flames pressed in on them, but their eyes stayed fixed on his back as he left. The guy who used to run away scared is now yelling for Roland. He wonders if the rumors were all just lies, if Roland really isn't some kind of monster after all. The villager felt scared that Roland might have ended up just like the others. Everyone turned to him, searching for some kind of answer. You could tell they really wanted him to know what to do. The question hits Roland hard. He starts doubting himself, wondering if he's even human anymore. His mind suddenly fills with memories of all the damage he's done because of his cursed arm. Right as his thoughts start to race, steps in and pulls him back, making it clear he hasn't changed. He's still the same guy he's always been. Speaks up, letting everyone know that no matter what, she still sees him as her brother. She looks back at the villagers, frustrated and kind of fed up. After everything that just happened, she can't believe they're acting like nothing changed. He literally just saved everyone, and yet no one seems to get it. She keeps telling everyone that he's always been the guy they look up to, and to her, he's still Roland. Always has been, always will be. Her words actually get through to him, almost like a small spark lighting up the mess his life's become. For a second, things don't seem quite as bleak. The villager, who used to run away scared, finally comes around. He feels bad for not trusting the hero before and admits he was wrong. As they thanked him, old memories started coming back. They remembered the kid who used to look out for them, always stepping in when things got tough. For a little while, even with everything burned and broken around them, everyone in the group just stands together. It almost feels like things are back to normal, like the way they used to be before everything went wrong. He made up his mind to prove everyone wrong. He wasn't going to let people keep talking behind his back. The rumors going around the kingdom were just lies, and he was ready to show the truth, no matter what it took. Roland stepped in front of him, blocking his path. He didn't let him go any further, making it clear that no matter what he said, his arm made everyone see him as a monster anyway. The truth wouldn't change their minds. He realizes the kingdom isn't going to change its mind just because the rumor turned out to be false. Everyone will probably just get labeled as corrupted, no questions asked. The villagers start to see that he's got a point. If they tried to defend him, things could get a lot worse for everyone. So even though it doesn't feel right, they know it's safer to stay quiet. The man tries to explain that if Roland walks away now, everyone in the kingdom will believe their worst suspicions. Roland had already decided what he was going to do. He turned to the villager, trusting him to handle everything while he was gone. The guy stepped up, knowing things were about to get real. He didn't hesitate this time. There was something different in his eyes, like he finally understood what he had to do. He took on the tough job, ready to see it through, even though it was a lot to handle. Roland and paused for a moment, catching each other's eyes one last time before stepping away from the place they'd always called home. There was a heaviness in the air as they walked off, both of them quietly taking in what they were leaving behind. The villager tries to get their attention, hoping they'll let him help with their injuries before they leave. They keep moving forward, not stopping to glance back. Their mission is already on their minds, pushing them away from the ruins behind them. Keeps the promise to come back someday locked in their heart, carrying memory along, like a silent reminder that they're never really alone. As the group walks away, something weird starts to happen. From the cracks in the ground, a purple light slowly leaks out, spreading across the broken pieces. It doesn't look normal, and anyone watching would probably get a bad feeling just seeing it. Something strange starts swirling around them, and suddenly it's clear something just clicked into place. That probably means trouble. Roland freezes when he hears the voice. He knows it right away. It's the same one he heard back at the castle, and it completely throws him off. Out of nowhere, a ghostly boy shows up in front of them and signals for them to stop. He lets them know that what they're seeing isn't actually him, it's just a projection. His real self is in a different place altogether. Roland could hear the voice clearly, but there was no one around. It was weird, almost like someone was talking right next to him, but when he looked, he couldn't see anyone. The boy notices that it's finally gone. He takes it in, not making a big deal out of it, just kind of registering that it's over now. He doesn't seem too bothered by the loss, shrugging it off since the reanimated general was already worn out. Guess there's no award for best worker this time. Roland stares at the guy in front of him, trying to figure out what's going on. It hits him that this isn't just some random demon. There's something different here, something that makes Roland want answers. He can't shake the need to know who this person really is. The figure nods, letting everyone know that he's just here to introduce himself. He explains that his name is. He's here to officially take place. He admits he wasn't honest before about what he actually did at the castle, owning up to not just being a regular caretaker like he said. The guy steps forward and lets everyone know his name is. He's a high necromancer, now taking over for. He messes with Roland, making it clear that getting payback doesn't matter, since the demon lord never really cared about someone like anyway. Instead, he decides to give Roland something for his effort, basically letting Roland know that he's the prize for all the work he's done. Roland doesn't look impressed at all. He just wants to get straight to the point and figure out what the demon really wants. Lets them know that demons are all about one thing. They're drawn to how bad humans can feel. It's like they live for the moments when people are at their lowest, feeding off that kind of pain. Roland carried a heavy weight inside, and it showed in everything he did. For someone like that, he wasn't just another target. He was something special. The one watching him wasn't about to let him go so easily. He looks over at, clearly waiting to see how crushed Roland will be if he loses her next. doesn't back down. She gets fired up and decides she's going to show that little monster it messed with the wrong person. She's determined to make it pay for thinking she was weak. Just laughs to himself, thinking it's kind of cute how determined she looks, even when she's ready to fight. He knows that real despair only hits after you've had some hope. Without hope in the first place, things can't really fall apart. He stands in front of them, daring everyone to go all out and see if they can actually beat him. He throws one last mocking wave, then his ghostly shape fades away, leaving nothing behind. Stands there watching as the final bit of energy disappears. That's it, he's really gone now. Roland thinks things through and figures out that is actually the one who brought back to life. He looks around and realizes how bad things really are. If they keep swapping out generals, this war's just going to drag on forever. He doesn't waste time overthinking it. The answer is clear to him. If they want any chance of surviving, every single demon has to go. Couldn't stop thinking about the huge secret she just uncovered. It kept running through her head, blocking out everything else around her. If resurrection is actually possible, there's a chance they could see again. Roland freezes for a second, not sure if he heard her right. He wonders if that's seriously what she got out of everything that just happened. Guess everyone's got their own way of looking at things. He can't help but smile for real when he thinks about it. It's just so typical of her. Nodded, signaling that everyone was on board and ready to go. With the plan settled, the group got moving, eager to start their new mission. Before anything else, she makes sure to take care of his cuts and bruises from the rough fight. She let everyone know she had a new plan for him. From now on, she would be the one training him. She notices that even though he's really good with a sword, he's pretty clueless when it comes to fighting without one. She actually enjoys being the one in charge now, taking the lead and making sure he keeps up. Now it's his turn to learn from her. The scene changes, and Roland is back in that dream he keeps having. He knows this empty place way too well. It's just endless white everywhere with nothing to see or touch. He's right in the middle, sitting by himself. All he can think about is everything that's gone wrong, and the weight of it just won't let up. Just then, someone he recognizes steps into view, looking happy to see him. He thinks about just hearing her name hits him deep. It hurts, but at the same time, it gives him a weird kind of strength. Even in his dream, she's always just out of reach. No matter how hard he tries, something inside keeps holding him back. He can't help but think about her, stuck in that same blank white room. He starts to question if she's just as stuck as he is, both of them surrounded by nothing but empty space with no way out. She just gives him a calm, easy smile, almost like she's letting him know everything's all right. He's standing there, facing what's left of her, like one ghost staring down another. Then, out of nowhere, something new shows up in the darkness, the heart of stolen fire. He shrugs off the flame, thinking it's just a pointless thing to have around here. His eyes slowly opened, and her smile stayed the same, steady and confident. It was almost like she was in on a secret that he hadn't figured out yet. Her lips open a little, but nothing comes out. It's like she's trying to say something, but all he gets is quiet. For the first time in a while, a small, almost sad smile shows up on his face. Roland wakes up with that smile still stuck in his head. Even though he's just opened his eyes, it's like the memory is right there, hanging around, clear as day. He wakes up next to a campfire, noticing S's voice calling him back. For a second, he's confused, trying to remember how he ended up there, but something about the warmth of the fire and her familiar tone helps him relax. The world around him feels real again, not like a dream or some weird glitch. She shows up with a warm smile and hands him a bowl of soup. Guess revenge isn't going anywhere. Right now, breakfast comes first. After they finish eating, she lets him know that his hand-to-hand training is about to start for real. He stares into the fire, quietly lost in his own thoughts, remembering something nobody else knows about. He let know that he was finally ready to move forward, even if it meant leaving his sword behind. Started the lesson by pointing out that a swordsman's instincts could use some real work. She doesn't waste any time. She points out right away that his footwork is where he struggles the most. Roland nods, kind of sheepish, realizing he still moves like he's holding a sword instead of throwing punches. He remembers fighting, and how standing in the wrong spot messed up his chances to land any good hits. Figured it was time to see if he'd actually picked up anything, so she set up a practical test to watch him in action. Roland steps up, ready for the challenge. He looks sure of himself, focused as he gets ready to make his move. He crouches down, getting ready and focusing himself before the demonstration. He pushes off the ground hard, using all his strength to shoot himself forward. He throws a punch, moving so fast it's hard to keep track of him. Every part of his body works together, showing just how much he's trained for this moment. He darts through the trees so fast that birds suddenly burst out of the branches, flapping away as he passes. His fist comes to a sudden stop, hanging just inches from his face. Just stands there, eyes wide, frozen in place. He moves so fast and strong that she just stands there, not knowing what to say. She wants to know why he moved like that. Turns out, he's picking things up way faster than she expected. She starts to think maybe Roland has been hiding some crazy martial arts skills, but he makes it pretty clear that's not the case. Roland mentioned that while she was resting, he had a lot of time to practice. He'd been working on his skills, using the extra with time to get better. It was clear he wanted her to know he hadn't just been waiting around, he'd actually been putting in the effort. The ground all around them looks torn up, showing just how hard he pushed himself training all night. He gets that if he doesn't keep putting in the work, he's never really going to get better. He thinks about how the guy who used to be the world's best swordsman has turned into someone who just fights without much thought. Smiles, pumped for what's coming next in his training. Now it's time to learn how to go all in, how to really push forward with some serious aggression. She moves in fast, showing him there's no time to back away. It's clear she wants him to stop overthinking and just go for it. She understands that he needs this moment. Ever since he lost someone important, he's been throwing himself into every fight like he doesn't care what happens to him. She breaks down why hit-and-run moves matter so much when you're trying to take over the fight. Roland surprised everyone by turning her down. He wasn't interested in picking up that technique, no matter how much she pushed. He watches her move, noticing how her fighting style stands out. Her attacks come so fast and unpredictable that he knows he could never pull off anything like that himself. He points out that she can pull off her hit-and-run moves because she's way faster than most people. She gets caught off guard by the compliment, her face heating up, but he's already thinking ahead, focused on his next move. He wants to know more about the area with hellhounds, those fierce creatures that track anything by smell and never seem to give up. As soon as they spot a blood trail, they won't stop chasing. No matter how far it goes, they're locked in, following every step. He remembers getting a job to take them down way back when he first went up against. He slices his hand and lets the blood drip onto a stone. Stands nearby, not really sure what's going on, her eyes fixed on him as she tries to figure it out. He tried to keep her calm, getting ready to use the rock to draw out their new training partners. He grips the lure, still slick with blood, and hurls it hard into the trees, sending it flying deep into the woods. The stone cuts through the air, slipping into the shadows without a sound. From the darkness, two red eyes suddenly opened up, reacting to the signal. The bait disappears, and suddenly a sharp red eye pops open in the shadows. The darkness felt heavy, pressing in from all sides. Something fast crashes through the bushes, drawn by the scent of blood. The first hellhound crashes out of the trees, all claws and teeth, tearing through the undergrowth like it owns the place. This thing never lets up. It's fast, always on the move, chasing after whatever it wants, and it doesn't stop for anything. Eyes go wide as it finally hits him, just how crazy the training plan really is. Roland doesn't back down, even when a bunch of glowing eyes start popping up in the dark around him. He steps forward and calls this the biggest test yet. Just him, facing off against a whole crowd. As he gets ready for the fight, his thoughts wander back to when life was way easier. He thinks back to when was younger, remembering how nervous she looked when they ended up somewhere risky. He remembers being younger and telling her that things would turn out okay. He thinks back to when was little, remembering how he once promised himself she'd never have to deal with the whole hero thing. Now he's realizing this is what fighting is really like, everyone ganging up on one person. He remembers that hellhounds don't just run wild, they actually hunt together, almost like a team, and there's not just one boss calling the shots. He realizes that if he can't beat these guys, there's no way he's ready to take on the Demon Lord. That dream would just stay a dream. The first predator shows up, its mouth dripping and eyes locked in, looking like it hasn't eaten in days. The creature rushed at him, but Roland didn't even flinch. He just stood there, calm and steady, not showing a hint of fear. He moves out of the way just in time, letting his reflexes do the work. His body reacts faster than he can think, already used to situations like this. Spots another beast sneaking up behind him and quickly tries to warn him. She notices right away that he's stuck, with enemies coming at him from both sides. The trap is closing in quick, and there's not much space left for him to move. He knows exactly what they're up to. While one tries to grab his attention, the other's getting ready to strike. He thinks back to what told him about staying safe, quick hits, then moving out fast so no one can sneak up on him. He isn't planning to play it safe. Playing it cool and holding back just isn't how he does things these days. He goes straight at every attack, not holding anything back, throwing all his strength into each punch. The hellhound lets out a deep roar, but there's nothing it can do as the cursed arm comes down on it. His punch lands hard, showing just how strong he is. The hit isn't just powerful, it leaves a sharp red mark where it landed, making it clear he's not holding back. After taking down the beast, he absorbs its energy. With that new power, he gears up for his next big attack. He keeps up the pressure, landing hit after hit on the pack without letting up. He lets loose the stolen power, not even trying to hide it. This is his way of causing chaos, and he calls it plunder. So much for keeping things low-key. He knows this plan could seriously put him in danger, but he's ready to go for it anyway. Every time he lands a hit, he drains a bit of their energy, using the fact that there are so many of them to his advantage. He stands his ground, not even thinking about backing down. Revenge is the only thing on his mind, and he's not leaving until he sees it through. Stands there, totally impressed as he notices the way the guy is moving. It hits him that this dude isn't just copying what he's seen. He's actually coming up with his own way to fight, making it up as he goes. He holds his spot while another beast comes at him fast, tearing up the ground with its claws. He's not paying attention to the ones he's already taken down. Instead, his eyes are searching ahead, getting ready for whatever comes at him next. Right then, a larger, tougher hellhound stepped out from the darkness. Roland figures the training's done. He knows it's time to take down the whole pack. He squints, locked in and completely focused, not letting anything distract him. But then someone else jumps in and calls him out, saying he's just using his guys as bait. The pack's leader steps out, surrounded by fire, clearly making it known that he isn't letting anyone get away. Two scared kids stood by themselves in the middle of the woods, looking around and not sure which way to go. They seemed small compared to the huge trees all around them, and it was pretty clear they didn't know how to get out. The quiet of the forest made everything feel even more intense, and every little sound made them jump. The young girl glanced up, looking pretty unsure of herself. She seemed scared and totally out of her element, turning to her friend, hoping he knew how to get them home. She soon notices the guy who's supposed to be showing her the way looks just as confused as she feels. He tries to calm her down, letting her know they've made it far enough that they should be out of danger now. But then his fake smile drops. Suddenly his eyes start to glow purple, and he flashes a creepy grin that looks almost evil. He lets her know that a hellhound is coming for her, and says she should blame that other person when it happens. The ghostly boy lifts his hand, giving her a friendly wave. As he does, his see-through form starts to fade away, slowly disappearing until there's nothing left. He disappears right in front of her, and the girl just stands there frozen, totally freaked out and not sure what just happened. She's left by herself, standing there as the darkness closes in. She doesn't want him to go, not with everything feeling this heavy and cold around her. The silence makes it worse, pressing down on her chest as she wishes he'd just stay. She ran through the woods, breathing hard as it all started to hit her. Every step made things feel more real, and the fear just kept building up inside her. Her eyes get huge when she realizes someone else is there with her. Fear hits her hard, and for a second she just freezes, barely able to breathe. Her crying echoed through the trees, each sob making it clear just how scared she was. She wanted nothing more than to get away from whatever was coming. Right before the beast can attack, something red and fast cuts through the darkness. Roland suddenly jumps in, putting himself between the danger and the kid. He uses his own body to protect the child, not even thinking twice about it. His cursed arm snaps forward, hitting back hard at the predator. He pulls her in, trying to figure out why a kid would be out here in these creepy woods. The girl just stares, her eyes locked on his arm that looks nothing like a normal human's. Roland stands there, determination growing inside him. He knows deep down that this mess is on him, and he's not about to let anything else happen to her. Whatever it takes, he's going to step up and keep her safe. He puts his hand over her eyes, trying to keep her from seeing what's about to happen. The pack circles closer, getting bolder now that their target is shielding a kid. They're suddenly not so scared anymore. A huge hellhound stands right behind them, waiting for the perfect chance to attack. He gets that his plunder power won't last forever. If he takes a break from fighting, the ability just disappears. With the kid behind him, he knows he can't just jump in and fight like he usually does. He's stuck, forced to hold back, and every move has to be careful. The situation's got him tense, knowing one wrong step could put them both in danger. Shows up right when things are about to get out of hand, breaking into the scene with a powerful kick that catches everyone off guard. Roland just stands there frozen as his sister jumps right into the fight. He can't believe what he's seeing. She's not the type to get involved in stuff like this. All he can do is watch, his mind racing, completely thrown off by what's happening. She showed up at a tough moment, clearly worried about the scared kid in front of her. Without wasting any time, she focused on making sure the child was okay. Lily's hands wouldn't stop trembling as she tried to steady herself. Even though her voice barely came out, she managed to say her name, almost like she was afraid to speak any louder. Gives a quick thumbs up, relieved to see the kid can still talk. Roland made up his mind and left Lily with, trusting her to keep Lily safe. He faces the pack leader, knowing there's no way out this time. Roland can tell his footwork's still pretty rough, but he's got his plan. All he has to do is get in close, that's it. He thinks to himself that if he can't get any closer the usual way, he'll just find a new way forward. He shoots forward fast, crashing through the crowd like nobody's in his way. Everything around him turns into a blur as he pushes ahead, focused on getting through first. Just stands there frozen, watching him pull off this wild move. It's risky, but somehow it actually works. She can't believe what she's seeing. He's really going for it, and for a second all she can do is stare. The beasts don't let up. Now their focus shifts to the ones who look like they can't defend themselves. Roland found himself face to face with the alpha, with the whole pack closing in around him. They definitely weren't happy about him jumping ahead, and it showed. Focuses on the kid right away, checking to see if she got hurt during all the craziness. The girl says her name is Lily, speaking so quietly it's almost hard to hear. Wanted to know why she was out here, so far into the woods where monsters usually roam. Lily told everyone she had been hanging out with a boy, but then out of nowhere, he just disappeared. She tells the group that he was supposed to take her home, but instead, he brought her to this place and then vanished. Roland immediately recognizes the guy she's talking about. Roland suddenly gets it. Lily didn't just end up here by accident. Some demon tricked her into coming, and now he knows things are still dangerous. The problem isn't solved yet, and he's got to stay sharp. Wanted to make sure the girl was all right, so he checked if she knew how to get home. Lily nodded, showing she was confident about the way back. The girl gestures toward the path leading to her village, letting them know which way to go. Roland thinks about the next place on his journey, wondering if going there might put the people in that village at risk because of him. Lets him know that being out here, far from everything, means no one's going to bother him or watch what he's doing. He knows he can't just let her walk off by herself, so he follows along, hoping she won't mention anything about his arm to anyone. Instead of getting scared, the girl just stared at his huge, monster-like arm, totally impressed. She actually thought it looked cool. She smiles wide, looking at him like he's some kind of hero. She's honestly grateful, just happy he showed up when she needed help. Roland's face goes red as it hits him that she saw the whole fight. He can't believe she watched everything, from the first punch to the end. It's awkward, and he tries not to look over, hoping she didn't see just how rough things got. Inside, he's embarrassed, wishing he could rewind time or just disappear for a second. Smiles, happy to catch a glimpse of how he used to be. Roland stared at his huge, messed-up arm, still trying to figure out what just happened. Some kid had just said something nice about it, and Roland wasn't sure how to react. He kept glancing down at his arm, thoughts racing, not quite believing someone could actually see something good in it. He suddenly remembers Smile, the way she always looked at him like everything was going to be okay. He glanced up, and for a second it was like the old him was back. He nodded, showing his sister he was on the same page. They finally got to Village, a small place way out in the middle of nowhere. It was super quiet, with barely anyone around, and the whole area felt kind of hidden from the rest of the world. The streets are quiet, with mostly older people and young families walking around. Roland looks around and notices there aren't many guys his age in the area. He figures that means he probably won't run into anyone who knows him. Lily spots her house up ahead and starts waving, clearly pumped to show everyone where she lives. She looks back at her friends, her energy pretty much saying she can't wait to introduce them to her family. When she walked in, her mom looked super relieved to see her. Then, her eyes quickly landed on the two people standing behind, checking them out and probably wondering who they were. The girl stands tall, looking confident as she tells everyone about how her new friend had her back when a monster showed up. At first, Lily's mom is just worried, but then she gets really scared. Meanwhile, Lily keeps trying to show she's totally fine, hoping her mom will calm down. The mom hugs her daughter tight, letting her know how close things just got to going really wrong. Lily stands there, head down, not meeting anyone's eyes. She's clearly embarrassed and sorry for what happened, wishing she could take it all back. Her mom hugs her, holding her close, just glad she's home and okay. Roland and stood quietly in the doorway, watching the scene unfold. Neither of them wanted to interrupt, so they just stayed back, taking it all in. Something about the way things were going made them pause, like they both understood this was one of those moments you didn't want to mess with. The woman turns toward them, clearly thankful. She looks like she really wants to know who they are. Stepped forward and said she was a traveling martial artist. Even though she tried to sound confident, she paused for a second, glancing over at her brother. It was clear she cared about how much she revealed in front of him. Roland kept his expression totally serious, as he called himself Laura, acting like it was the most normal thing ever. Roland's mom thought the name sounded kind of weird, and Roland could tell she wasn't really into it. He felt pretty embarrassed and mumbled an apology, hoping she wouldn't ask too many questions. She shrugs it off and decides she wants to buy everyone food to say thanks. Lily's mom needed an extra hand, so Lily jumped in without hesitating. She was always excited to help out, especially when it meant doing something for the people she looked up to. The mom, really thankful for what they did, waves them in, wanting to do something nice in return. Notices the name he picked and starts messing with him a little about it, quietly amused by his choice. Turns out, Laura was just the name she picked whenever she acted like his little sister. Later, while they're walking through the village, Roland starts to sense that something isn't right. The usual chatter is quieter, and people seem tense, glancing around instead of smiling like they normally would. Even the air feels heavier, like everyone's waiting for something bad to happen. Roland can't shake the uneasy vibe settling in as he keeps moving through the streets. He thinks there's probably a demon hanging around this quiet little town, picking off people whenever it wants. He figures they should stick around and handle it, since they could use the practice before facing. Nodded, thinking they needed to get really good at using his arm and take down every demon they came across. Roland thinks back to the promise he made about working toward world peace. He reminds himself how important that goal is to both of them, and it keeps him motivated to keep going. Just then, Lily shows up and notices the guys are still hanging around outside. She looks a bit puzzled, probably wondering what's keeping them there. Roland lets the group know they're heading out, and as he moves forward, things feel calm for now, even if everyone knows it probably won't last. As the group gets comfortable, an old man stands off in the distance. His face looks tired, and there's a heaviness in his eyes as he keeps an eye on them. Inside, the siblings sit down with Lily and her mom, sharing a meal that actually feels calm for once. No arguments, no rushing, just everyone eating together like things are normal, even if it's just for tonight. Lily looked pretty pleased with herself as she waited for everyone to try the soup. She was clearly excited, even though the way she'd chopped the veggies showed she still had some skills to work on. Nods and gives a small smile, while the mom says sorry for the simple food. They both nod, pretending the food tastes better than it actually does. Even though it's nothing fancy, they're just happy to have something warm to eat and to share the moment together. The mom's smile slowly disappears, while she talks about how tough things have been since her husband passed away. Roland's eyes narrowed as he looked over, trying to figure out if her husband had also been taken out by the demons. She nods, letting everyone know that demons have actually been living in the old ruins close to the village for a long time. Her husband had died in the fighting, and their daughter was so young back then that she barely remembered him at all. Wonders why they don't just leave, but the truth is, her mom doesn't have anywhere else to take them. They're stuck with no better options, so they just stay put. She tells him that the village chief tried to get help before, but their request ended up at the bottom of the list. Roland understands better than most that when people ask for help, those requests can easily get ignored or lost. The mother quietly lets it all sink in. She figures other people probably have it tougher than she does, so she just keeps her thoughts to herself and goes on with her day. Roland doesn't let her just give up. He steps in, not letting her sink into that mindset. Lily and her mom didn't see that coming at all. They both froze for a second, trying to process what he just said. He stands his ground, knowing that just because someone else is struggling doesn't mean her problems aren't real too. Everyone's got their own battles, and she deserves help just as much as anyone else. His mom got really emotional, and without thinking, she used his real name while thanking him. He wanted to know where the ruins were, and said he'd take care of things on his own. Lily quickly steps in to back him up, barely stopping herself from saying that her big brother is all the backup he really needs. She steadies herself just in time, while watches with a sly grin, clearly entertained by how close things got to being exposed. That was almost a mess up. Grinned at the mom, letting her know with that look that everything was under control. Roland thinks about how everyone seems way too used to demons being around. No one really gets scared anymore, and it's like people just accept it as part of their normal lives. He understands that nobody should just have to put up with things like that, as if it's something you just have to get through. That's why it matters to him. The group reached the old ruins, and could tell right away that demons were inside. She notices how risky it is to just walk into some place they know nothing about, especially since there could be traps waiting for them. Roland nods, thinking back to what he learned early on. You never just walk into enemy territory without a plan. He already knew what to do, so he went over to and asked if she could spare him some of her gunpowder. It was all about speed. She fought fast and used magic tools to boost her strength. Whenever she stepped into a fight, people could tell she relied on those enchanted gadgets to take her skills up a notch. Roland stared at the small vial in his hand, realizing it held the main stuff that made her explosive gloves work. Those gloves were no joke, and now he was holding the thing that made them so deadly. He pulls the stolen flames from into his cursed arm, getting ready to force them out. He figures it's time to try out these new powers together, even though he's not totally sure how it'll go. He lets loose a huge blast of energy, sending it crashing straight toward the ruins. The gunpowder catches fire, and his stolen flames explode into a powerful blast. The blast rips straight through the old building, flames bursting out and sending everything flying. It's like the place just got kicked out in the loudest way possible. He decides that the only way to handle a nest is to wipe it out completely. Can't help but think about what might happen if they mess up something important from the past, but Roland's only focused on what's happening right now. Once the ruins were all cleaned up, he let everyone know that the real job was just getting started. The ground under their feet suddenly starts to shake and split open. Out of the broken ruins, a huge golem starts to take shape, piecing itself together from the shattered stone and debris all around. It stands tall, blocking their path, and its heavy footsteps shake the ground as it gets ready to face them. Starts to think maybe they woke it up by accident, not exactly the way anyone wants to get noticed by their landlord. Looks up at the massive stone figure and realizes it's a golem. Underneath the broken piles of stone and dust, a demon with a monocle starts to get what's really going on. He can tell right away that his home wasn't ruined by some random chance. He starts to figure things out, and you can see he's getting annoyed. His face tightens, clearly not happy with what's going on. He suddenly gets really mad, his anger flaring up when he figures out someone actually tried to mess with him. The golem used his voice, sounding confused about who would even try to stand up against him. Roland recognizes his opponent right away. That's the same demon responsible for what happened to Lily's dad. He remembers how demons are really good at messing with people's minds, always trying to make things worse for everyone. Their minions are basically wild animals, acting on pure instinct. All they care about is chasing after anything that moves, never stopping, always hunting for their next target. Unlike real creatures, a golem isn't alive. It's more like a puppet made from dirt and magic, following commands without thinking for itself. The giant puppet raised its massive fist and slammed it down, aiming straight for the hero. Roland goes straight for the stone fist, letting his cursed arm take the hit. The force slams into him, but he doesn't even flinch. He pushes back as hard as he can, but the golem's strength is just too much for him. He notices his arm isn't working the way he hoped, since it can't take power from things that are alive. This enemy was different. He had nothing for anyone to take. No life force, nothing at all. It was the one thing that could actually stop his power in its tracks. He's up against this weird stone creature that doesn't even think for itself. The problem? His best weapon does nothing, like he's swinging at thin air. He clenches his jaw, knowing this fight just leveled up and things aren't looking good for him. The demon hangs back, obviously irritated that his target isn't just giving up. He watches from the side, not happy that things aren't going his way. He's got backup. Rushes in, climbing up the golem's huge arm without hesitating. She charges straight at the demon, pulling her leg back and swinging a solid kick at his head. The demon doesn't look too thrilled about someone getting up in his face. He moves out of the way without breaking a sweat, already planning to take down the martial artist who keeps getting in his way. The demon looked down, clearly annoyed, ready to finish things once and for all. He didn't want to waste any more time dealing with what he saw as a tiny annoyance. He stands on the golem's shoulder, steering it through the chaos as it smashes everything in its path. Roland notices that the demon can actually hold its own, which catches him off guard. He didn't expect this much skill from something that isn't one of the top fighters. The demon shouted out, calling his stone soldiers into action. Suddenly, the stone figures started moving, ready to rush into the fight. Huge stone spikes suddenly shoot up from the ground, making the siblings jump back and stay alert. They have to move fast, keeping an eye out for what might come next. The ground suddenly shifts beneath their feet, and sharp rocks shoot up from the earth, turning the whole area into a dangerous stone forest. The jagged spikes come out fast, making it almost impossible to dodge. Things got even crazier when, after the first giant golem showed up, a whole bunch of smaller ones appeared too, ready to cause even more trouble. Roland looked at, letting her know he was relying on her. He could tell right away that this was the usual setup, one main boss with a bunch of underlings. She lets him know that going straight at the main golem would be way too risky. The demon wasn't interested in playing by the rules. Instead, he just pointed at his puppet, telling it to smash both of them without holding back. A giant stone fist comes crashing down from above, ready to flatten Roland right where he stands. He doesn't back down. Instead, he charges straight into the attack, his cursed arm sparking with energy. The ground cracks open where the golem hits, showing just how strong this thing really is. Dirt flies everywhere, and the earth splits from the force, making it clear this golem isn't messing around. Roland stumbles backward, barely managing to push against the heavy force pressing down on him. Every muscle in his body strains as he tries not to get knocked off his feet. It's tough, and he can feel his arms starting to shake, but he grits his teeth and refuses to give in. While he's stuck and can't move, a smaller golem sneaks up from behind and goes in for a dirty hit. Steps in just in time, breaking the stone minion apart with one solid kick. Roland knows he's stuck. Without the energy that was taken from him, there's no way he can smash through that fist. His sister noticed him having a hard time, while even more minions started crowding around her. She reminds him about his training, telling him not to forget his footwork and to put some strength behind his moves. Looks like he's not done learning just yet. He really listened to what she said, and now he stands firm, getting ready to go all out. He slams his foot down, pushing all his strength up from the floor. He knew it wasn't just about being the strongest guy in the room. What really mattered was how he could put everything he had, his energy, his balance, even his nerves, into one solid strike. That's what made the real difference. He throws a strong uppercut, knocking the huge stone fist away. He's sure that even a tough golem would get hurt with a hit like that. Stands frozen, her eyes locked on her brother as he smashes the stone arm. She can't believe what she's seeing. Her mind races, trying to catch up with what just happened. The golem just staggers backward, and then out of nowhere, a brand new arm starts growing where the old one was cut off. The demon lets everyone know that his puppet just looks more like a person now. Pace steps into the spotlight, making sure everyone notices him. He calls himself the Puppet Master, clearly wanting to make a big impression. Every bad guy seems to need their own cool entrance, and this is his. The fist, fresh with energy, slams down from above, going straight for the hero. It's obvious the attack is meant to end the fight right here, right now. Roland found himself stuck with his back against the cliff, barely managing to keep the heavy load from crushing him. Every muscle in his arms burned as he tried to push back, his feet slipping a little on the rough ground. The pressure was intense, and he could feel his heart pounding as he tried to figure out how to get out of this mess. His punch lands, but the golem's stone fist just pulls itself back together, wrapping right around his hand like nothing happened. Watches as the thing heals itself way faster than he thought possible. His stomach drops when he sees how quickly it pulls itself back together. Its arms changed shape, turning into a drill on one side and a spiked mace on the other. This definitely wasn't the kind of upgrade he wanted to see. He remembers that to take down a golem, you have to go for its core. The problem is, this one probably has more than one hidden inside. His new goal is clear. He has to hunt down each one and break them all. Stood off to the side, waving to get his attention. She let him know it was his turn to swap out, making sure he didn't miss his cue. He tries to step in, realizing she's not strong enough to face the golem by herself. She stops him right there, showing off how fast she is. With that kind of speed, she's basically built for high-stakes hide-and-seek. She doesn't waste any time showing what she can do. She darts around the stone soldiers like it's nothing, moving so fast and smooth that it almost doesn't seem real. Pace, the demon, stood there watching, clearly annoyed. His whole plan had just fallen apart right in front of him. She darts forward so fast her pink hair almost turns into a streak, moving quick against the huge stone giant. The golem swings its huge fist down, but she's quick and slips right underneath before it hits. The blast knocks her off her feet, and she goes flying, bits of broken rock raining down all around as she tumbles through the air. Even while she's falling, she keeps her eyes glued to the target, watching every little movement it makes. She knows the golem is really strong, but she doesn't back down. Instead, she pushes off its huge body, using it to give herself a boost. Every time she hits something, she pays close attention, picking up on where the core might be just by listening to the sounds. That's how she uses percussion as her secret edge. She realizes she can't just stand by and let Roland deal with this on his own anymore. With out of the picture, she decides it's her turn to step up and have his back, keeping an eye out for the cores. She shouts where the spikes are popping up, signaling him to change spots while she weaves through the sharp obstacles in the forest. Pace just stands there, his jaw clenched, watching everything unravel right in front of him. The plan he'd put together so carefully is slipping out of his hands, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. Roland watched his sister and felt pretty proud of her. He remembered what she'd taught him and decided to try it out himself, not wasting any time. He slams his foot down, pushing off the ground with so much power that the ground cracks under him. He launches himself into the air, flying straight toward the golem's chest like he's got something to prove. He darts forward so fast, it's like his body turns into a streak of red, zeroed in on what he's after. His cursed arm started to glow, lighting up the room. He knew this was it, the moment he'd been building up to. All that power was ready, just waiting to end the fight for good. He swings his fist straight at the stone giant, landing a solid punch right where the core is supposed to be. He breaks through the stone and ends up right in the middle of the golem's chest. Right there in the middle of the puppet sat the glowing blue core, shining bright like the heart that kept everything running. Pace stands there completely frustrated while watching everything he worked so hard on get ripped to shreds. There's nothing he can do now. His big moment is ruined. Just like that, it's all over. The golem starts falling apart, its body breaking down as the magic holding it together slowly disappears. Pace couldn't take it anymore. He was totally losing his cool, getting louder as he tried to get his puppet to finally take down the hero. Roland found himself cornered, nowhere to run. All he had left was his cursed arm, holding back whatever danger was closing in. It was the only thing keeping him alive right now. He digs in his heels and puts everything he's got into one spot, not backing down for a second. His power suddenly rises up, strong enough to split the stone that's trying to pin him down. He braces himself, gathering every last bit of strength. With nothing left to lose, he gets ready to break out, hoping this will finally set him free. Roland's attack hits the golem right where it counts. Suddenly, cracks split open across the golem's body, and pieces start breaking off from the inside. The whole thing shudders, falling apart as everyone watches. Pace looks at the golem and notices there's just one core left. He knows he can't keep the golem going at its huge size anymore. He figures it's time to try something different, so he shifts his puppet into a new form. The last glowing core showed itself, standing out as the golem's only remaining power source. The golem pulls itself together, shrinking down into a more focused form. Turns out being huge wasn't everything. The siblings tense up, watching as the golem starts to change right in front of them. They can't look away, not sure what's about to happen next. Pace stands there with a grin, clearly hyped about showing off his puppet's new flight mode. It's like he can't wait for everyone to see what his creation can do. The demon jumps onto his new ride and takes off fast, not looking back. He's getting out of there as quickly as he can, not sticking around for whatever's coming next. He figures there's no point hanging around and dealing with these random people. Helping others clearly isn't something he's good at. He'd made a name for himself by picking on people who couldn't fight back. Going up against real heroes was never part of his plan. As he tries to get away, he notices the pink-haired kid is chasing after him, not letting up for a second. He lets out a quick laugh, totally sure that her hits won't do anything to his last core. Couldn't help but smile, clearly holding back something big. She had been waiting for the perfect moment to reveal her secret move, and this was it. She's getting ready to push her gloves to the limit, pouring in every last bit of magic she's got left, plus all her gunpowder. She's got her strongest move ready, and she's going straight for his face with it. Pace stands frozen, eyes wide, as the overloaded glove suddenly explodes right in front of him. A huge blast of light and energy ripped across the sky. The golem's final form breaks apart, falling into 1,000 pieces scattered across the ground. The demon crashes down, his rough, scaly hand digging into the dirt. He's stopped in his tracks, not flying anymore. He's sprawled out on the ground, completely done for. Whatever game he was playing has ended. He's got nothing left. His confidence disappears, and now he's just desperate, hoping someone will let him off the hook. Roland wondered if he was the reason Lily ended up in the forest. The thought ran through his mind, and he couldn't help but look back on everything that happened, trying to figure out if he had somehow led her there. The demon starts freaking out, shaking his head and trying to clear things up. He insists that what he does isn't the same, and his way of handling things is totally different and messed up in its own way. He always goes after the men before anyone else, making the kids see what happens when their protectors can't help them. He tries to convince them they've got the wrong person, forcing a weird, uncomfortable smile as he pleads for them to let him go. Roland's face changes as he listens. At first, he's grossed out, but then his mind starts working. If this demon isn't lying, there might be a way to use this to his advantage. So, had to be the one who led Lily into the woods. Before he can even finish thinking, Pace digs deep and pushes himself one last time, using every bit of strength he has left. His hand turned into a heavy stone claw, and he drove it hard into the ground, giving it everything he had left for one final strike. The demon rushed straight at the hero, trying to catch him when he least expected it. Roland doesn't flinch. When the weak punch comes at him, he's already set. He throws his own fist, the one everyone talks about, the one people say is cursed. The hit knocks the puppet master off his feet, sending him through the air. His last attempt completely flops, and any hope for a comeback is gone. All that's left of the demon is a broken monocle lying in the debris. Roland notices that this low-level demon doesn't have any leftover energy he can use. Called them back, and once things calmed down, everyone decided it was time to head home to the village. Back at the village, Roland let everyone know they'd taken down a demon, but it wasn't the same one that had gone after Lily. The mother felt bad about the misunderstanding, but deep down, she was thankful someone had finally stood up for her husband. Roland started to understand that the demon probably wasn't just passing through, it was after them. He knew they couldn't stick around, not if they wanted to keep the village out of danger. So, he made up his mind. They had to move on, even if it wasn't what anyone wanted. The mom nods, understanding that having outsiders around would just make their peaceful neighborhood feel uneasy. Lily just can't figure out why her heroes have to leave already. She watches them, confused and a little upset, not really getting why things have to change so fast. Her mom steps in, stopping her before she can say anything else, and reminds her that she's got chores to finish before the sun goes down. The mom tells her daughter to head out first, saying she'll catch up in a bit. The young girl nods, but anyone can see she's not happy about it. Her face shows just how let down she feels. The mom lets them know they can stay if they want, but she makes it clear she isn't going to hold them back if they decide to leave. She gives them the last bit of food they've got for the road. It's not much, but it's her way of showing just how thankful she is. The mom says goodbye with a smile and hopes they'll come back to visit her again. Roland gives a small nod, but the sad look on her face says she's not really okay with it. He tightens his fist, realizing that winning didn't really make the village's pain go away. Planned out their next move, heading toward a nearby town. They needed to restock on supplies, pick up the reward for their last job, and see what kind of info they could pick up around town. Roland looks ahead, thinking about the next big town they'll reach. He's trying to figure out if they should stop there or keep moving. They're heading to the biggest and most crowded trade city around. Somewhere far from everything, in a fancy room, someone unknown is just kicking back and taking it easy. He stands there gripping a wanted poster in his hand. The face staring back at him is one he knows all too well, Roland. The man grinned, looking like someone who just spotted something he really wanted. That definitely didn't seem like good news. Back with the group, points out that Guild actually pays out bounties right away. Roland doesn't even think twice before turning the idea down. He knows it's way too risky for someone like him, always looking over his shoulder because there's a price on his head. He's been to so many times that it's hard to keep track. With all those visits, there's a good chance someone at the guild will remember what he looks like. If a fight started right now, there'd be no way to keep everyone else safe. People would probably get caught up in it, and it'd be almost impossible to protect them all. Just shrugs it off, acting like requests like that almost always get ignored anyway. She knew his wild transformation was a huge deal, but she still couldn't help doubting herself. At the end of the day, they didn't really have a choice. Their cash was gone, the supplies were used up, and the worst part was they were totally out of gunpowder. She keeps saying is the only spot big enough to find all their stuff. She leans forward, making it clear she's won this round. Roland doesn't really have a comeback, and it's obvious she's using that usual older sibling move to keep him in check. He realizes she's not only focused on gathering supplies, she's actually making sure he doesn't lose touch with everything going on around him. He finally says yes, but there's a catch. He refuses to go into the guild himself. The siblings picked where they were going and started their journey together. They pull into the biggest city around for shopping and business. The streets are packed, with people hurrying everywhere and stores lining every corner. It's clear this place is where everyone comes to buy, sell, and see what's new. The place is always buzzing with people trading all kinds of stuff. Food, weapons, you name it. Everything moves through here, and it never really slows down. All kinds of magical gear and rare stuff get packed up here and sent off to people everywhere. Where there's cash around, people always show up. With adventurers and knights always on guard, the city stays lively and busy, even with demons out there causing trouble. Roland understands just how breakable this thing is. If the demon lord goes after it, everything could fall apart in an instant. He pulls his hood down and looks around. The city's still buzzing, even though things are supposed to be dangerous right now. Nodded, sure that slipping into the busy crowd wouldn't be a problem. With so many people around, they felt like they could disappear easily, just another face in the sea of strangers. She brings him back to reality, pointing out that they're out of money and seriously need to find a way to get some cash. Went off on her own to deal with the guild report, so Roland was left in charge of finding a place for them to stay. He stands by himself while the city buzzes around him, barely noticed by anyone passing by. Even with the bright sunlight and all the life around, he feels kind of invisible, almost like he's just another shadow on the street. But then, out of nowhere, loud noises break break out just down the street, snapping everyone out of their calm. The guy suddenly gets knocked off his feet and ends up flat on the ground. All the stuff he was carrying goes flying everywhere, clattering and rolling across the street. The adventurer, his face marked with old scars, grabbed the young merchant by the arm. Frustration was clear in his eyes as he pointed at the merchant, blaming him for the gunpowder that didn't work right. The merchant looked confused and a bit nervous, caught off guard by the sudden accusation. People nearby glanced over, sensing the tension between the two. The merchant looked scared out of his mind. He kept trying to explain that they had the wrong guy, desperate for someone to believe he hadn't done anything. The adventurer doesn't pay attention to what the merchant says. He just wants proof that the merchant isn't the one selling the stuff. The merchant wants to look over the product to see if it has his shop's mark. It's a fair thing to ask. The thug says he's already tried it out, and that's when Roland picks up on what he really means. Turns out when the guy says bustling, he's actually talking about being violent. Roland catches on quick, realizing it's just a nicer way of saying something brutal. He looks at the city and knows it's packed with people just waiting to take advantage of others. Every corner feels like someone's waiting for a chance to get ahead, no matter who gets hurt. He understands that in a city this big, most people are just focused on getting through their own day. Everyone's got their own problems to deal with, so stopping to help someone else isn't really on their mind. Someone nearby could tell he was right, pointing out how everyone always had this low-key fear of demons hanging over them. Roland can't stand by and do nothing, so he jumps in to break up the adventurer's attack. The thug's face twists with anger. Annoyed that someone stepped in, he shifts his focus toward the hooded stranger, ready to lash out at whoever messed with his business. Roland keeps his cool and just lays it out there. The guy doesn't have any proof that he actually bought something from this place. The adventurer tries to break free, caught off guard by how strong Roland's grip is. It's hard to breathe, and every second feels heavier as Roland holds on. He pushes the merchant aside, throws out one more half-hearted threat, then steps back and gives up. The bully walked away, looking annoyed, while the merchant just stood there, not sure what had happened. Roland didn't seem bothered at all, like nothing out of the ordinary had just happened. The young guy looks over at the person who just helped him out. You can see it all over his face. He's seriously thankful. He puts out a reward that sounds almost unreal. A free bag of gunpowder. Getting what he wanted was way easier than he expected. Roland shakes his head when the reward is offered, not wanting to take it for himself. Instead, he tells the guy to save it for a girl fighter who might come by later. Roland's not really in it for the prize. He just likes helping out and doesn't need the extra attention. The merchant seems impressed by how noble Roland acts, but Roland can tell the guy's just lost. He honestly has no clue what kind of gunpowder uses. Roland got a quick thank you from the merchant, then slipped away, blending into the crowd like he was never there. With that out of the way, he focuses again on what really matters, finding a place to crash for the night. He moves through the city, keeping his hood up as he slips past tall buildings and fancy shops. The people around him, dressed in expensive clothes and lost in their own world, barely notice him at all. He heads up the huge stone steps, walking alone while everyone else in the city seems to be going the other way. He keeps walking by the edge of the water, hoping no one really notices him. He thinks back on everything and realizes he never meant to draw attention to himself. Still, sometimes stuff just happens, and people notice whether you want them to or not. He realizes his plan to stay hidden isn't working when he picks up on someone strong nearby. A man with blonde hair showed up out of nowhere, blue energy swirling all around him. He seemed focused, looking straight ahead as if searching for someone named Charles. The man realizes Roland picked up on him right away. Even now, Roland's instincts are still as sharp as always. He calls him by a name from back when Roland was someone else, a name Roland hoped he'd never hear again, Charles. Hearing that name, memories from his old life start coming back to him, taking him back to the days before everything changed with his cursed arm. Back then, his life was straightforward, just him, his gear, and a bunch of monsters to take down. Every day was about the next fight, and nothing really got in the way. He charged forward, fast and focused, every move sharp and confident. In that moment, he was unstoppable. He locked in, knowing exactly what he had to do as the fight raged on. He spots the leader of the undead crowd. There's no hesitation. He knows this is the one he needs to take down to finish things. But then another memory pops up. This time, it's about someone strong, someone who always seemed surrounded by cold like ice. A massive ice creature forms right in front of him, all cold and intimidating. It's clear he's got some serious power, and everyone can see it. With one powerful hit, the skeleton boss is completely destroyed. Turns out he wasn't fighting alone after all. The elemental swings its fist down hard, smashing the undead leader into pieces like it's nothing. Roland just stands there, watching as whatever's left of the beast slowly crumbles away, turning into dust. There's nothing else he can do now, so he keeps his eyes on the spot, not sure what to think as it all disappears. His ally stood there totally chill, not bothered at all, showing off his ice powers like it was nothing. Charles Glass is always looking out for his friends. Right now, his main priority is making sure his teammate is okay. The rest of the undead just stood there, staring. Their leader had been taken out with one hit, and now they didn't know what to do. Charles didn't let it slide. He wanted to make sure Roland wasn't hurt, even though Roland just wanted to brush it off. Roland could feel his face getting hot because Charles was fussing over him, and it was kind of awkward having someone check him over like that. Charles grew up knowing he'd take over his family's legacy. Everyone in town recognized his last name since his relatives were all powerful mages. Being next in line, Charles always carried himself with a certain confidence, like he understood the weight of his family's reputation. He wasn't just known for his rank. He actually looked out for his guys, making sure no one got left behind. Roland trusted this guy more than most people. That's why he invited him over to his place. Charles accepts the offer, smiling and feeling pretty good about the friendly gesture. The memory pulls him back to village, to the place he used to call home. He thinks back to when he came home and stepped inside, letting know he was back. She greeted him with a warm smile when he came back, making him feel like he belonged there again. A bit younger back then, leaned around the corner. He was pumped to catch a glimpse of their guest, Sir Charles. Charles spotted the young girl and walked over with a nod. It was obvious they knew each other from before, and seeing her again put him at ease. He looks over at, she seems a little nervous meeting someone new, but she quickly says her name. Charles introduces himself properly, letting everyone know he's the next in line for the house glass, which is a big deal. Just stands there not saying a word. She's suddenly face to face with someone way up the social ladder, a real high noble. The whole thing catches her off guard, and for a second she doesn't even know how to react. Right away, she thinks about their small house and hopes everything will be okay. Meanwhile, Charles stays calm, handling the moment without showing any stress. Tries to put her at ease, letting her know that Charles isn't like those uptight rich guys. On the battlefield, Charles knows nobody really cares about where you come from or how important your family is. Out there, it's all about having each other's backs and trusting the guys fighting beside you. That's what matters when things get real. Listens to him and can't help but feel something shift inside. She really likes how he sees things, and it hits her in a good way. Can't help herself and points out how he still totally looks like a polished rich kid. Roland introduces his close friend, hoping will be cool with him. Charles and the girl eventually came face to face. He'd been wanting this moment for ages, so there was a bit of nervous energy buzzing around him. Even though he tried to play it cool, it was obvious he was happy to finally see her in person. That night comes back to him, their little house standing out with its warm light in the middle of the dark. All four of them sat at the table, finally getting to enjoy a quiet meal together. Moments like this didn't happen often, so everyone just settled in, taking their time with the food and the calm. Roland thinks back to when he was in the kitchen, helping out with the food. Meanwhile, Charles, always trying to act classy, was in charge of picking out the wine. For a little while, it was just them, together like any other family. All the noise and chaos from the war outside seemed far away, almost like it didn't even exist. Charles noticed Roland's family and couldn't help but point out how great they seemed. Roland just nodded, knowing it was true. He was proud of them. He knows deep down that all this talk about saving the world is just a cover. The truth is, he just wants to keep this one thing safe. That's what really matters to him. Charles thinks it's a good wish and decides to help out, hoping they can keep things calm and peaceful for a little longer. Roland hears his friend's promise and for once actually smiles. A real one, not the usual fake or awkward kind. The two guys lock in their promise, standing side by side, both determined to chase after the same goal. They're not just friends at this point. They've got each other's backs, ready to take on whatever comes next. That good memory doesn't last long. It slips away, and all that's left is the uncomfortable reminder of his cursed arm. The reality hits him, colder than before. The room stays quiet until Charles speaks up, snapping Roland back to reality. The reminder about the bounty on him suddenly hangs in the air, making Roland's shoulders tense up. His eyes start to light up, showing just how much power he's holding back. He remembers the moment he found out his friend had turned into a monster. The news hit him hard, and for a second he just stood there trying to process it all. He decides it's up to him to stop Roland before things get worse. Guess that's what happens when friendship takes a backseat to tough choices. But as he gets ready to attack, he can tell something else is going on. Roland stops for a second, surprised and unsure if his old friend will actually listen to what he has to say, especially since it sounds like something only a monster would tell. Charles really hopes his friend hasn't lost it. He keeps telling himself he's tough enough to handle things, even if it means stopping his friend without getting too close. Roland lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He can count on his friend, just like always, and that actually makes him feel a bit better. Roland sits down with his old friend and starts telling him everything that happened. He doesn't leave anything out, going through all the tough moments and the stuff that went wrong. His friend listens closely, taking it all in as Roland shares the whole story. He explains what happened at Village, what went down with, and how things have changed now that he's with. Charles just stands there, completely quiet. He can't stop thinking that this is all his fault, replaying what happened to over and over in his head. Roland's eyes narrow, full of anger. Deep down, he's already decided he won't let the Demon King get away with what he's done. Charles tries to calm himself down, thinking about what would have wanted in this situation. Roland tries to picture what it would be like for her, watching him get lost in his need for revenge. That question really gets to Roland. Deep down, he knows he'll never find out what she was thinking at the end. He turns his back, sticking to his decision. For him, this is the only way forward now. There's nothing left to go back to. Charles finally gives in, knowing there's no way to convince his friend to do anything different. Roland starts to walk away, looking a bit unsure, but he gives a quick nod that says he's not gone for good. Even though he's heading out now, he's got that look like he'll be back, no doubt about it. Charles watches him leave. He knows deep down they'll cross paths again. It's just a matter of time. As Roland slips away, a dark shape creeps over the nobleman, making him tense up. Charles picks up on someone new nearby. His face tightens, getting more serious than usual. A huge, creepy shadow stretches across the ground, but when you look for the source, it's just a tiny pair of shoes. A young boy shows up, flashing a grin that's all fangs. He gives a greeting that's way too polite to feel normal, and just looking at him puts everyone on edge. It's the same demon who tricked Lily before, and he looks pretty happy about being here. So much for having a chill afternoon. The boy spots Charles and knows exactly who he's up against. He remembers Charles's full name and title, making it obvious he's not just some random guy. He's someone the boy recognizes right away. Charles just motions with his hand, and the powerful mage starts to follow him. As they move, blue energy lights up around Charles, making it clear he's not someone to mess with. Charles's eyes lit up, showing just how ready he was for whatever the demon tried next. He stood his ground, not backing down, letting the demon know he wasn't scared. As night settled in, the rooftops of Ultrid grew quiet. Later checks out the inn Roland picked. She's really into it, especially all the newer stuff it has. Fast Wi-Fi, cool lighting, and comfy furniture. It's way better than she expected, and she starts feeling way more relaxed about the whole trip. She seemed really happy, and gave him a grateful look for taking care of everything. Roland didn't bother with small talk when she asked about his day. He just let her know he'd seen Charles. Freezes, not sure what to say. Roland just lets him know that he already told his old friend the whole story. She notices that Charles let the guy leave, showing that their old friendship still means something to him. Roland decides to switch things up and brings up her visit to the guild, steering the conversation in a new direction. She shows off a massive bag of gunpowder, looking pretty pleased with herself. It's obvious her plan worked out just like she wanted. Roland hears about a special discount for female fighters and decides to just go with it. Looks like helping out earlier actually worked in his favor. Roland wanted to know if found out anything new, but she let him know the guild board didn't have any updates. Things were pretty much the same. No new leads or jobs posted. He keeps asking if there's any update about or the demon lord, but she doesn't have anything new to tell him. She tries to look on the bright side, and Roland thinks it's probably better to keep quiet for now. He knows it's just a matter of time before they run into each other. Is out there, searching for him, and he's the one wants. Until that day shows up, he's got one thing on his mind, taking out demons and grabbing their power for himself. He surprises her with how serious he is, but after a second, she nods and goes along with the plan. With the plan in place, she grabbed a map and pointed out where they should head next. Her plan is pretty wild. She's going after trolls, nagas, and even a black-armored demon she spotted on a bounty poster. For her, it's just another monster hunting trip, nothing too out of the ordinary. Their path goes right by village, so they get a chance to stop in and see Lily and her mom. With their plans set, gets pumped up, excitement showing on her face as she gets ready for what's coming next. Drops onto the bed, super relieved that he can actually sleep tonight. Roland looks at her, a calm smile on his face. He's honestly just glad to see her in a good mood. Later that night, he can't fall asleep. He just stares at the ceiling, his thoughts running nonstop. He shuts his eyes, hoping he can push all the stress out of his head. He isn't by himself. Is there too, standing nearby while everything stays quiet and dark. She looks down at his cursed arm, wondering quietly what's really going on with him. She thinks about whether she's really helping him out the way he used to. The scene changes, and there's this question everyone's thinking about. Could he really be an adventurer? A young woman stood there, broom in hand, looking curious and a little confused. She couldn't help but wonder what would make someone decide to live so dangerously. Remembers a time when she was younger, messing around with her awkward friend during one of their trips. Even now, it seems like she still acts the same way. She knows she's always counted on her friends for pretty much everything, but now she's set on changing that. She wants to step up and become an adventurer too, just like he did. Here's what the young girl says and gives her a small, understanding smile. She doesn't say anything, but it's clear she gets where the girl is coming from. Her face is calm, like she's seen this kind of thing before and knows how to handle it. She doesn't push back or make a big deal out of it. Instead, she just lets know it's up to her to stick with the path she picked. She just had one request. She wanted to stick with Roland and have his back while he faced whatever was coming. His eyes show a calm kind of focus now. She decides she'll step in for, planning to be the person he can always come home to when he needs a break. The two girls locked in their promise, something just between them as sisters. They promised they'd always have each other's backs, no matter what life threw at them. That old memory fades, and Roland is snapped back to his everyday life, a non-stop struggle that hasn't let up since then. Now that was gone, quietly made up her mind to always be there for him, a safe place he could count on no matter what happened. She realizes that if he keeps chasing revenge, it might end up taking over his whole life. She couldn't be there with him like her sister was supposed to, and that's why things turned out this way. The next morning, she spots him and calls out with a ton of energy. energy, like she's already wide awake and ready to go. Roland wondered if she'd got any sleep. For once, things felt kind of normal between them, quiet, almost peaceful, like they were just two regular people for a moment. She flashes a big thumbs up, looking totally refreshed and ready for the day, making it clear she got a great night's sleep. With their bags full again, the siblings leave behind. They push forward, barely stopping to catch their breath as they take down every demon that shows up. The fights come one after another, and everything starts to blend together. Each swing and strike is automatic now, like they're just moving on instinct, focused on getting through whatever stands in their way. They head back to village, determined to stick to their word. Stretched out, pretty sure they were on track now that the road was clear. Roland suddenly steps in, blocking her path. Something just feels off to him, like there's danger close by. His instincts kick in, making him freeze on the spot. He catches a nasty smell in the air and instantly knows what it means. Somewhere close, there's a corpse garden. Doesn't get it at first and wants to know more, so he tells her it's a plant monster that actually turns people into fertilizer. Not exactly the kind of info anyone wants to hear. This quest wasn't posted on the guild boards, so it had to be something new. The guys decided to handle it themselves. They head straight for where the danger is coming from, not wasting any time. The siblings darted through the woods as the sky got darker, their eyes locked on the target ahead. Every branch and shadow around them seemed to blur as they moved faster, not letting anything slow them down. They step into an open space where the ground is covered with plants that give off a soft light. Dark vines curl around everything, making the place look both cool and a little creepy. Notices how the place looks strangely beautiful, but there's also something about it that makes him uneasy. Roland nodded, thinking it would be all right if the place was empty, but when he checked it was. A vine suddenly snaps out from the darkness, but Roland reacts fast and smashes it apart with one punch. Stands frozen, watching the forest around him change. The trees look sharper, the shadows move in ways they shouldn't, and everything suddenly feels dangerous. It's like the whole place is turning against him, and there's nothing he can do except hope he makes it out. They glance up and freeze. All around them bodies hang from the trees, still and silent. The sight hits hard. This place isn't just creepy, it's way worse than they expected. Freezes, her eyes widening as she spots someone she knows among the shadowy figures. At first, she can't believe it. It doesn't make sense. One second she's scared out of her mind, and the next, she's just staring, trying to process who it is and why they're even here. Lily's mom was there, caught up in the vines that kept this whole place alive. Roland quickly turned, realizing where the real danger was coming from. Out of the darkness, a huge flower starts to appear. Its petals open up slowly, showing off bright colors that stand out in the shadows. The scene feels kind of unreal, like something you'd see in a dream or a viral post online. At the heart of the flower, there's nothing pretty about it, just a mess of sharp teeth and twisting tentacles. Roland gets it right away. Staying alive comes before anything else. He starts taking off the bandages from his cursed arm, ready to fight. The plant monster suddenly attacks, swinging its thorn-covered vines at anyone nearby, trying to grab its next target. Roland saw the vines coming at him and didn't flinch. He raised his huge, monster-like hand and caught the vines before they could hit him, stopping them right in the air. He stands his ground as the creature comes at him, not backing down. Inside, his energy builds up, pushing back just as strong. His cursed arm lights up with a deep red glow, pulsing as if it's fired up and ready to push back. He calls out the arm of plunder, using its stolen strength to smash through the vines holding him back. The main flower, along with all its smaller branches, kept attacking without letting up. Siblings stand close together as strange, unfriendly plants start creeping in from all sides. Vines twist along the ground and strange leaves block out the light, making it hard to see a way out. Both of them can sense the danger as the plants keep getting closer, their shapes looking even weirder the more the siblings stare. Each step they take just seems to make the plants move faster, like the whole forest is working against them. Stares at the numbers, totally lost. It's like his brain just hit a wall. Roland steps in and breaks it down for him, making it clear that the whole mess actually comes from just one thing. Even though he understood what was going on, that didn't make the danger in front of him any less scary. His heart kept pounding, and the fear didn't let up for a second. One of the flowers suddenly spits out a thick lob of purple goo, aiming it straight at her. Stands completely still, caught off guard as the dangerous projectile gets closer and closer. His mind blanks out, and he just can't move, locked in place while everything happens way too fast. Roland steps in, his cursed hand reaching out just in time to catch the poisonous liquid. He pulls the poison into himself, not flinching at all. He's got this look that says he's about to throw it right back where it came from. Honestly, the way he handles stuff like this is wild. Roland focuses, letting the poison he took in flow through his body. His cursed arm starts to glow with a dark, angry light, almost like it's alive with something dangerous. He lets loose the toxic liquid, blasting it back in a huge wave toward where it came from. He lands and notices the poison just sliding right off the creature's petals. The monster didn't seem bothered at all by its own venom. Honestly, if the guy thought that would work, he clearly didn't think things through. Roland isn't done yet. He calls up the stolen flames of, showing everyone he's got another move ready to go. He figures since poison didn't do the trick, his only option now is to set the whole garden on fire. He slams his hand down on the ground, sending out a wave of fire that burns up the vines creeping toward him. The fire caught fast, wiping out all the plants and flowers until there was nothing left but gray ash. Starts to understand that the whole forest is connected, almost like it's alive as one giant thing. That means if a fire starts, it won't just stay in one spot. The flames could move underground through the roots, spreading way faster than anyone would expect. Just like she expected, the flames shot up the main stalk, heading straight for the center of the monster. The center of the flower started to light up, and suddenly it shot out a bunch of seeds that exploded as soon as they hit the ground. Roland doesn't back down, even when the glowing shots come flying at him from above. He braces himself, ready for whatever's coming, not letting the pressure get to him. He notices the creature is launching its own seeds, trying to protect itself one last time. Roland doesn't even flinch when the enemy comes at him with everything they've got. He stands his ground, determined not to back down. Fire bursts out around him, stronger than ever, showing everyone he's serious about not letting anything get in his way. The whole corpse garden goes up in flames, turning into a massive fire that burns everything left behind. It's like the place is finally getting a harsh ending, with nothing but ashes left where all those bodies used to be. As the fire starts to fade, he notices kneeling next to one of the bodies. He sees what's going on, and notices she's actually trying to help Lily's mom. It's already too late. Checks and knows right away the woman's been gone for a while. She feels the disappointment settle in, wondering why things keep going wrong. Roland stood over her, his thoughts spinning with the same question she had. Pointed something out, noticing there was something in the woman's hand. She opens up the wrinkled paper, and inside, there's a letter that turns her whole world upside down. Someone left a note, trying to get the mom to come over by promising her news about where Lily is and if she's okay. The note has his name on it, and suddenly it hits him. Someone set him up, grabs him, wanting to know what's going on and really worried about the young girl. He tightens his fist, determined not to let whoever did this get away with it. With his face covered, he let her know they had to get to village right away. They hurry back toward the village, weighed down by a heavy pit in their stomachs. The village looks pretty normal, like nothing bad ever happened there. But everyone knows the real trouble is waiting at Lily's house. When Roland and his friends showed up, he could tell right away that something was off in the village. The place felt colder, and the usual buzz of the people seemed to have faded. Even the air seemed heavier, and Roland couldn't shake the uneasy feeling creeping up on him. The village chief storms in, his face red and twisted with anger as he yells at everyone. He charges ahead, not wasting any time, looking like he's ready to start something. With a bunch of villagers standing behind him, all holding weapons, the guy points right at Roland and blames him for working with demons. Looks like nobody's rolling out the red carpet for Roland today. Steps in, hoping to calm things down. She really believes there's been some kind of mistake and wants everyone to just stop for a second and listen. The chief interrupts her and insists on seeing Roland's right arm. Roland just stops in his tracks. He can't believe the old man actually knows what he's been hiding all this time. It's like his stomach drops and he suddenly feels exposed, like someone just spilled his private DMs for everyone to see. He doesn't say a word, and that's enough for the villagers. They glance at each other, getting even more nervous. No one has to say it out loud. They all know what's going on just by the way he stands there, quiet. Roland steps forward, hoping to strike a deal. He just wants to make sure Lily's okay and promises he'll go right after. All he cares about in that moment is knowing she's safe. The chief just keeps messing with the truth, totally sure he's got the girl under his control. The chief loses it when he finds out Lily is missing. He can't believe they let a kid like her stay in the village, especially when things are this crazy. Roland's fear switched over to anger as he tried to figure out what the villagers did with her.
Lately, I've had a strong addiction to watching manhwa and manga recap videos. Every single day, I find myself binging one after another, losing hours and days doing absolutely nothing productive. And honestly, it's getting out of hand. So, maybe we can make these viral videos too. I mean, look at the views, the growth, the community these creators are building. It looks simple, right? But that's a trap. You go down this endless rabbit hole, spending money, losing sleep, hiring editors and writers from Fiverr and Upwork, and still feel like you've been robbed. Because don't forget how emotional the YouTube algorithm can be with making videos go viral. It's unpredictable, especially when the market's saturated, competition's relentless, and somehow other creators are dropping 10-hour videos daily while you're stuck trying to finish one. That's when I realized something had to change. So, I built the solution, the Web2 Narrative Suite, a complete one-click system that handles everything from cropping, script narration, text-to-speech, image processing, and full video generation in one smooth process. Save money, reduce hours of work, and have a tool that only gives you straight results. Click on the link down below and experience it for yourself. And if you want even more tools to supercharge your YouTube recap journey, visit my Ko-Fi and Patreon pages where I drop weekly new tools designed to keep you ahead as AI continues to steal our jobs. So tap in now before you get left behind.